Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. If we sound a little cheery, I think the mood is high. The vibes are pretty good in here, and partly because it's Friday, partly because it's gray and cloudy and wet outside, and partly because, well, listen, there's no game today, so you can't get hurt on an off day. So that's great, but it's good to be here. It's always good to be here with our friends, you guys, the tier ones. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Top of the morning to you.
Vibe check for you, young man. How are your vibes? Paulie had a rough night with the dog.
Yeah, it's been up for like 4 hours already.
I beat you by one.
Okay.
I was awoken at 1 by my wife, who got up to work out at 1 a.m. and I stayed awake, so that was good.
Yeah. From 2 to about 3:30, our senior 18-year-old just Benjamin Button dog.
Yes.
He's getting more energy as life goes on.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
He gets restless sometimes.
Paulie said that he does a thing, and Benjamin Higgins, our Secretary of Homeland Exploration, is also with us. Ben, you have dogs too. I have one dog left. Mine are dropping like flies. There is the one.
You want one or two more?
There's a couple of sounds that a dog makes that will make me, I mean, like borderline homicidal. The vomiting, not even, because it's fairly quick. Ben was miming the vomit sound. No, it's the click clack of long toenails on the hardwood, the porcelain floor, whatever, not porcelain, the stone floor or the
tile.
Yeah, the tile floor. That sound.
We've got hardwood, and it's just clack, clack,
clack, clack, click, 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 homicide.
Clack,
and then
clack.
the other one is in the middle of the night, my dog will just start moaning, and you're like, oh my God, why? What did I do to deserve this? So Paulie's been up all night. I've been up all night. How was your rest, Benjamin?
My rest was fine.
Short?
Yeah, short like usual, but woke up feeling fairly alert and rested for a Friday. Usually I'm pretty dead by the time we get to Friday morning. So, yeah, I'm here, ready to go. Obviously, I'm not that excited about what happened to the Padres yesterday, but just with the perspective, they're coming off a winning road trip.
Correct.
4-3.
Yep.
They've won 5 of their last 8. I actually had to look at that like 4 times going, that can't possibly be true, right? I mean, the way we've been feeling and talking about this team. They haven't won 5 of their last 8 games, have they? And they actually had.
Let's save this because I do want to talk about that. Something clicked for me yesterday, and I was much more at peace with where we are as a fan base. And
I did want to actually point something out. We have our YouTube stream that's up, and good morning to everybody who's watching us on our YouTube stream. I'm always impressed that there are several people who were in the stream before the show even starts.
Yes, great.
Already commenting. I mean, we get early risers. Like we got Frijoles here, who is having overnight oats for breakfast today.
Never had them. I see them all the time. If I'm going to eat oatmeal, I'll just make oatmeal.
Instant oatmeal. But the overnight ones
are different.
Yeah, you get a little more of the whole grain.
Is it like, are they? It feels yogurty. Like they don't look appetizing to me. So that's why I never get them. I hear all the time and read, oh man, you got to do overnight oats. I'm like, well, why would I do overnight oats when I can just make oatmeal? And I like that. Why do we have to improve? Is it an improvement?
I mean,
is it
you
healthier?
and I grew up on the Quaker Oats packages.
No, I never did. I never liked it. I never, ever,
the apples
ever.
And cinnamon.
No, the brown sugar and the
maple and brown sugar.
Yeah, maple and brown sugar.
I never liked them. They always tasted weird to me. So I always made Quaker. I measured it out, the cup of water. It takes a minute and a half because there's only this
2
much.
packets of apples and cinnamon, a little water, throw it in the microwave, stir it up.
Yeah, one packet was never quite enough for an entire bowl of
Never
breakfast.
could do it. My kids eat them. I never could eat instant oatmeal. Never, ever, ever once. My buddies used to come to their cube with a styrofoam cup, stirring it, and I'd be like, Adam.
I think Adam eats oatmeal all the time.
Yeah, you walk in the hallway, you're like, what is this maple syrup farm? Like it's too much. It's too much. So I just get regular, the old school oatmeal, and I boil it and I stir it, and it foams up and almost runs over the top. And then I let it cool, and then I put some blueberries in it, maybe a little granola, and I eat that And that's when I eat my oats. But I don't really know what overnight oats are. It's oats soaking in something.
You don't really know what overnight is either.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you're getting up at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
There's no time for
There is no
overnight
overnight.
anything. You're up, the time the oats are supposed to be doing whatever they're doing overnight. You're already awake.
I was up cooking breakfast when some people were getting home from the bar and like preparing my day.
Or work from Channel 10.
Or work from Channel 10.
I did not fall asleep until almost 1 a.m. You
And
were already up.
I was up and moving. It's gnarly. I've been up for 5 hours already, so I'm not quite delirious yet. When I talk, I had a productive day yesterday, and I feel like the more productive I am, the better I can deal with losses and things like that. And something did click. I got my sleep study confirmed. So Hannah said I was up all night, like gasping for air last night in particular. And it happens a few times a week. Not good on your heart, obviously. So you're on the CPAP machine. I'll be on it soon. I got the sleep test coming, paid for that, did all the paperwork, the questionnaire and all that. So they're sending me the sleep study. I'll have that hopefully by Monday. Then we'll get it all dialed in with the CPAP. So I think that's going to change. I got a new therapist yesterday. Did the intake phone call.
How'd you find the new therapist?
I Googled some different places, and I did a little research. And I told the story a couple weeks ago how I found one. I found one that looked nice. It was in Encinitas. It was close to the house. I was like, oh, great. Well, filled out the form, the contact me form, and nobody contacted me. And I get it. There's 5 or 6 therapists there. They probably don't have any time. Everybody needs therapy these days, so I'm sure their schedule is quite full. But I didn't get a call like, hey, man, we're full right now. We'll let you know if anything opens up. But I did find one, and they were great. So responsive. And so I set that up for yesterday, my kind of initial phone call, about 20 minutes, and set up a full meeting for May 10th will be my first. And I'm going to go. I'm going to go every week. And I had a great call with her. And I think that even that phone call helped get my mind right a little. Isn't that like just this like, wait, so what are you trying to accomplish? What are you looking for? And even that little phone call, it really works.
Then maybe you just need to jump around doing free consultations with people
from
like the first
each one.
I just need the 20-minute free consultation and then move on to the next therapist if that's all it takes.
What's not all it takes?
Who cares about the relationship, the back and forth? Just give me the free 20 minutes and we're good to go.
I feel like Adam would do that. Adam is the guy, our boss Adam.
How many free trials do you think Adam
all
has?
of them.
Like every single one, right? And
he's the guy.
Sets reminders in his phone, cancel in 6 days.
He's the guy that went to Vegas, took his whole family to Vegas, and he's like, well, they'll be having fun. I'll be sitting through a timeshare presentation for 2 hours. And I looked at him, I go, do you want, I'll just pay I'll give you money. Like, you don't have to do this. No, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So he.
Well, I know why you don't, because then you'd end up with a timeshare at the end of the presentation.
100%.
It's so true. That and the 2 hours is like it would be excruciating, and I would fully be like, "All right, babe, can you sit down? We got 6 months at Yellowstone, so strap in." Excuse me.
I'm surprised you don't have like 6 different subscriptions to the UT because you wanted a new umbrella or a fur blanket that says San Diego Union Tribune on it.
Man, that's one of your best lines ever. I mean, it's so true.
I used to do all those subscription things.
Of course,
and just put my friend's number.
Yeah, but of course. We've talked about our Columbia House Records scam. I owe them $50,000 easily. I keep waiting for them to be like, you know what? We're going to open the Columbia House files. You owe us $50,000, sir. You got 700 CDs for a nickel.
I literally signed up for the UT one time to get a blanket because it was cold at the Padres game.
Everybody,
and my buddy up in Seattle goes, "Did you sign me up for the Union Tribune?"
Such a good bit, man. I would
Threw
actually
his email down.
You know what's a good topic idea? If you can't tell. We're not going to be doom and gloom about this team today. We're just not. If you wanted to hear us piss and moan and be doom and gloom,
we got 3.5 hours of draft breakdown coming your way.
Number one, pass. I would rather be doom and gloom about the Padres than break down the draft. But Yeah, we're going to talk about the game. Certainly, it was a crappy loss and whatever, but there's still plenty of time to go. And you saw a few things that made you happy yesterday. So we'll get into that. You know what I would love to hear? I honest to God would love to hear, and you can tweet us, you can put it in the chat, whatever, you can call us. I would love to hear timeshare horror stories. I've heard. So I'll be honest with you. Much like, what are the things I don't understand in life? I don't understand insurance. I don't understand I don't know what a deductible is. Oh, we've met our deductible. What does that mean? Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't know how it works at all. I've tried. You can explain it. I don't really know what equity is, and I really don't understand. I don't understand how any of that works, and I really don't understand timeshares. In theory, sounds like the best idea one could ever have. Oh, we're going to get this beautiful vacation home for a fraction of the price. We have no ownership in it, so we're not responsible for repairs and upkeep and maintenance. And I share it with my buddy, and we just look at our calendars and hell yeah, I'll be in. I'm going to go to Boca with the family. Oh, cool. We'll come down the next weekend. Sounds great, right? I don't know what the big issue is with it.
Well, I think, and I've
with
never
you,
had
but
a
I'm
fascinated.
all my life, though. I've heard, oh no,
don't get a timeshare.
No.
You are responsible for the things like upkeep. Now, you're a fraction of it, but let's say your timeshare needs a new refrigerator and they have to replace the pipes, have gotten old and rusty. And that's going to cost, $14,000. You're on the hook for some percentage of that, and they'll send you a bill for the upkeep and maintenance every single year. And then you've done it, and you've gone for like 3 straight years, and you go, all right, it's fun, but I want to do something else this year. But then you've got this week, and it's sitting there, and it's like, I don't really want to go, but you're already paying for it, and now you feel like locked in, and you never have a chance to go anywhere else. I've never been in one. I hear the ads on our station and others, though, the booming business of getting out of your timeshare.
So that's what I heard too.
Never a great sign that there's a booming business for people to get out of timeshares.
Have you been absolutely bent over by the timeshare companies? Call us now. That's what I'm hearing. And but I do know that they, like, Adam went and did that thing, which killed me. I mean, it was had my dad known about that in the 80s, that's probably how we would have done all of our vacations. Just wait in the car. Yes, I have to sit through a presentation, but it's going to be worth it because we're getting this place for free. So I do wonder if anybody has any of those stories, or you can tweet us or whatever, however you want to do it. But we will get to the Padre game yesterday, the series. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to brightside it, you had a winning road trip. I don't know why that's not enough anymore. There's a part of me that feels the same way. Like, we let a couple get away there for sure.
Honestly, I'm at the point where thank God it was a day game, like a morning, early day game, because it felt a little bit different. I was able to get over it easier.
Yeah, you had a basketball game.
As opposed to, the game ended at 8:00
and you got to
I'm
stew
going
on
to bed at 8:30, and I'm like, great, that's the last thing.
It's the last thing I see.
This effing team again.
I know.
Right.
It was
you had all day to just.
You had a basketball game. I had t-ball practice and took the kids to Dave & Buster's for Foster's birthday. It was a lot of fun. They played games. We ate. It was great. And then I got home, put the kids to bed, and watched Dave, and actually had a really nice night until I was awoken from my slumber at 1 a.m. So a little bit punchy, a little bit loopy, but in an overall pretty good mood, man. I mean, it's baseball. This is a long, long year. And when I talk about something clicking, the positive switch kind of clicked in me yesterday. I don't know why. I mean, I have an idea, but it's mostly because I didn't live tweet the game. I just kind of stayed off and watched the game and actually enjoyed the game of baseball instead of bitching and complaining about the team.
How about this today? This is pretty cool. Manuel just hit us up in the YouTube chat. He says, morning from Mexico City. We're outnumbering Giants fans by a huge margin.
Oh, that's rad.
I would love for some tier ones that are in Mexico City to call in this morning. I want to hear everything. I want to hear what it's
my
like.
Twitter timeline's full of people.
I feel like we're the only ones that didn't go.
Seeing the sights of Mexico City the last couple of days and getting ready for the games tomorrow and Sunday. So I know they're down there, and I know they're having a good time, and we're kind of FOMO, jealous that we're not down there right now in Mexico City.
I actually had somebody text me yesterday. They go, hey, I got 2 tickets for the games this weekend if you can make it down. They're like, okay. I mean, 36 hours out. Thanks for the
heads up.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, I would love to hear from tier ones down in Mexico City. I mean, our favorite tier one, Bob Melvin, will be calling in
from Mexico
City at 8 a.m. Yeah. So look forward to that. Yeah, and there's a lot to ask Bob. I really want to try to crawl in his head a little bit, and find out where he's at, and what it's been like finally getting to manage Fernando Tatis. There's a lot to talk to him about, so I'm excited.
Woods will be giving out his draft grades from the first round, or maybe just give one grade out for
the whole overall draft.
Yeah, right. You don't have to do it team by team. We'll just come back and you can just give a grade.
I can do that actually.
For yesterday's draft.
I have one.
And then we'll be kind of wrapping up our draft talk. Craig Elston will be with us at 7:35. All our usual segments on a Friday. Take on Woods. Don't do this. Flubs of the week. Getting started. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the weekend. Almost here. Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic this morning with Kelly Danick. Get going here on 97.3 The Fan.
Great pick.
You ever really listen to the lyrics? This is Hold On Loosely by 38 Special, bands with numbers in the name this week. And it is, to me, one of the best, like, real relationship advice songs you're going to get. So, just hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control.
It's like the bat in the golf club. You don't want to hold it too tight. And something else.
Well, I mean, you don't want to smother in your relationship. You don't want to be
controlling,
too clingy or controlling.
Clinging.
You have to give your partner space to be themselves,
right,
to grow. But that doesn't mean that you're letting go of the relationship at the same time. You have to hold on. You don't let go, but you're holding on loosely, not like with a death grip on
Nobody
your
likes
person.
to feel smothered.
Exactly.
And like there's hands around
your baby
neck.
Needs someone to believe in and a whole lot of space to breathe in. Don't let her slip away.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a good,
but hold on loosely.
Yeah. It's a good relationship advice song, a realistic one, like not a sappy, overly sentimental one, but one that actually applies in the real world, real life situation.
That's a very, very appropriate point that you make there. Really good. My wife sometimes likes to be smothered, and then other times she's like, "Wow, you could, if you want to go somewhere, you can get a little space." So it's hard to know what day we fall on.
It's fair.
I'm pretty much always. I'll take a little space. I'm good. A little space is fine for me. But
you can talk about this with your new therapist.
Perfect. I plan on it. Absolutely.
Lenny says, I stopped going to therapy ever since the YouTube show came out.
Oh, that's dangerous, Lenny.
I just donate that money now to any sponsor on the Ben and Wood show. If there's a sponsor you'd like to, well, you don't even have to donate. You can actually just
buy stuff.
Buy stuff like I did last night. I went to one of our sponsors, our Monday Grand Ole Barbecue sponsor, yesterday for dinner. And oh man, it was really, really good.
All right, which location?
I know. I paid for it, Paulie. I didn't. No one even knew I was there.
Plagola police there?
No,
Okay.
this is simply my dinner choice last night. Had some time. We were covering. We had the draft on ABC 10, so there was a 5 o'clock to like 9 p.m. where nothing's really happening except draft coverage. So hopped over to North Park. It's only about 8 minutes from the television station. Didn't have to wait in line. I guess I got there at a good time. There were people there already at the tables, and inside they got a nice little inside kind of bar area as well after the remodel. Went right up and ordered, got my food, sat down. Very efficient, very
North
delicious.
Park
North
location.
Park,
All right.
And then right there on 32nd and Thorn Street, next to Thorn Street Brewing.
And then what did you have?
I had 1/2 pound of brisket by the pound.
Okay.
Just phenomenal.
Sliced?
I mean, just one. It was just one nice thick slice. But then when you cut into, I didn't need a knife or anything. Just fork.
Yeah.
Just kind of
you forked it. And
just forked and take a bite, and it was delicious. And I had a bowl of their Texas chili, which was also outstanding.
Then you told me earlier that you woke up at 1 or this morning with gas pants.
Hey, I don't think that was the cause. Actually, it was.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't. I didn't have an overly large. You're picturing an overly large meal. It really wasn't. It was
a hunk of beef.
I didn't
and a
have
bowl
a lot
chili.
of roughage. I'll say that. I didn't get a salad with it. I thought, well, what's the point? Really.
If I'm going, I'm going to go.
I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not going there to get the salad, and I thought I could get the salad on the side, but I'm thinking that's just more food that I don't need. So let's just get the stuff that I want to eat and then eat it.
That's why I said get to the meat.
I went right to the meat. I got right to the meat. That's all I got is just meat. I didn't get any big time side.
No
potato salad.
Really?
I just went with the meat. I just wanted a
meat fest
and some chili.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
I would be reticent to order lasagna. It as good as Grand Ole Barbecue is. I would be very reticent or hesitant to order lasagna at Grand Ole Barbecue.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Those I do like a lot. Did you get no dessert?
No dessert. No.
What did you drink? Water.
Yeah, water from the fill your own water station water.
Did you steal Sprite from our sponsor?
No.
Tea, lemonade.
No, didn't.
Don't lie to me.
I made compromises and choices, and I went with no calories with the beverage.
Meat,
just meat.
Chili, and water.
Yeah.
Was your meal?
Is that a weird combination?
I feel like if I get barbecue, I have to have the sides. I got to have beans or potato salad or coleslaw, something.
I just didn't need it, and I felt like, yeah, then I'll just get a whole side to myself because
But you're not
it's
doing
easier
like
if you're there
carbless
sharing with people because then you get a couple sides.
Taste.
I have a couple bites of this and a couple bites of that. But if I ordered a side, then I'm going to eat this whole side, and I thought I don't want to eat a whole side.
That's fair. Okay. All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
I bet it was delicious.
Oh, so good.
I'm fiending for it, man.
So good.
Absolutely fiending. I would like to set up maybe a tier 1 luncheon. Do they open for lunch at the North Park
location? Yeah, they
open
noon at the North Park location.
I would like to set up a tier 1 luncheon at some point and meet everyone out there for some BBQ.
I don't know if you can get the brisket at lunch.
Oh,
That's
really?
a dinner item. Maybe at 6
it?
o'clock. They're smoking it all day, so it becomes available for the dinner crowd at
tier 1
6
dinner.
p.m. But they have other great stuff. The turkey is fantastic. Smoked turkey is really, really good.
Paulie's never been. You're gonna die. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm not a big brisket guy.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it's because I haven't had
The good stuff.
Really good brisket. Yeah.
But in general, I'm not ordering it.
I love it.
I might have some, if somebody has
bite.
some, but I'm more of a tri-tip guy.
Yeah.
Love the chicken.
You
love
might
the
want to
turkey.
go on Sunday.
You want to get
do
some
their
ribs.
Argentinian barbecue as well.
Love
They
some ribs.
tri-tip, very, very good.
Good. All right. Well, congrats on your meat meal. Are you not doing like a low carb thing? That's just what you wanted.
That's just what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a good low carb meal though. There was almost
protein.
Yeah, the chili was not a beanie chili, so it was pretty much a high protein, low carb dinner last night.
It sounds fantastic. I need to get out there. All right.
Well, all right. So we need to talk about yesterday's game. We'll get our Padres wrap up. I know some people are upset with our 8 a.m. guest this morning, Bob Melvin.
Lots of people.
And I want to talk about why. It's an interesting reason that I saw people calling out the skipper yesterday. It has to do with Juan Soto and Juan Soto being in the lineup the last couple of days. So we'll talk about that coming up with Ben and Wood. Stick around. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Almost forgot. I said I was going to get your draft grade. What was your draft grade from last night?
C+.
All right, C+.
Jonas Brothers brought it down.
You have heard it. You have heard it from Woods.
They brought the overall draft. I did watch the second half of it when I got home.
That encompasses everything, like each team's picks, the atmosphere,
overall C+,
the interviews, the coverage on all the networks, all together. The analysis on various websites, just put all together.
C+.
Woods gives the draft a C+ yesterday.
Would have been a B+, but the Jonas Brothers were on. I'm just joking. They're not bad. They're good guys. My guy Michael Mayer did not go in the first round, so that also has driven down the somebody really messed up by not taking that.
Neither did Will Levis after.
Dude.
I mean, some people thought he said that number one
he
overall
changed
pick.
the odds in some books,
like significantly. He moved
How do you walk around
of money?
If that's true, again, it's Reddit, and this show, as you know, we've been burned by Reddit before. Ben got called into Andy Green's office and got bitched at.
I still say Ben innocent.
I think Ben was innocent because I do think Eric Hosmer said, "Am I earning my paycheck now, Chief?" I really believe that those were words that were uttered from his mouth, but Andy Green needed to save face. And Ben got called into the office. Bob Melvin's never called us into the office yet. He may after this interview in an hour and 20.
Did you see, before we get to our Padres wrap-up, though, because Hosmer played first base for the first time in the series yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
When Tatis singled in the first inning. It wasn't a fist bump.
No, it wasn't just Tatis, by the way. Every single Padre that got to first base.
My wife does not hug me with that much.
The hug
love
that he gave Eric Hosmer was like we
always knew it.
It was like two people who were in deep love who hadn't seen each other in years,
forever.
And they greet like in an airport where they're getting off the plane, and there's that scene.
I'm telling
where
you,
they're reunited. I mean, that was the kind of hug.
The last 3
we would never lie to you guys. He was number one teammate of all time to those guys. Number one. He was not good with the media. He was not forthright with the media.
He was not good on the field.
He was not good on the field for a majority of his time. He was good in spurts.
But he was the most
beloved,
maybe the most beloved guy to their respective team in all of baseball.
In all of baseball. No one more. And we would ask
every single time I saw him in the clubhouse, on the field, wherever, he had at least no less than 6 or 7 guys just huddled around him.
Yeah.
As if every word he's saying was like the word of God.
Yeah, and it is wild. And it just goes to show you, Ben, you, Paul, me, everybody out there listening, until you're in that room, you really have no idea, because in a perfect world, you would think to yourself, bro, you're killing us defensively. Like, you're killing us defensively. You're on the wrong side of the bag. You're dropping pop flies. You're just not. You're grounded into double plays. Like, you're killing us, man. And you in my mind, I pictured other players going home and going, "Cos, he's just murdering us right now." Like Ben does about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's what I pictured. No, it couldn't be further from the truth. Beloved. And it was almost like love is blind, truly. Like, and that when you're such a good teammate, like, love is truly blind. And you needed no other evidence than what you saw yesterday at the long embraces.
Manny did it.
Manny, Todd, I mean, all of them, Hassan Kim, all of them. They were so stoked to see Eric Hosmer. And I have no problem with that. That's great, man. That's absolutely great. But everybody that thought they knew, oh, he's cancer and he's bringing this team down. I mean, on the field, maybe he was bringing the team down and a bit of an anchor around their neck. But in the clubhouse, massively beloved. Just, you couldn't be more beloved.
Well, he had a big swing.
We don't owe Eric Hosmer anything, by the way.
He never came on our show.
We never talked to him once.
I never spoke with that man one time in 4 years.
It's
never
just observation.
That is pure observation and questions that we've asked. It's crazy.
Obviously had a big swing in yesterday's game, the rubber game of the series. We'll get to our Padres wrap up. All the highlights from Jesse right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
A crash has cleared on southbound 15, the eastbound 8 connector ramp. In the North County, reports of collision on the Valley Parkway off-ramp of northbound 15. Also, a semi caught fire on northbound side of the 5 at Los Pulgas. That is over to the right shoulder. At 7-Eleven, our hot coffee is fresh or it's free. We don't compromise on our premium roasts, and neither should you. Hot 7-Eleven coffee is guaranteed fresh or it's free. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
2-1. And Manny swings, hits it in the air to deep left center field. This one's way back, gonna go! A home run for Manny Machado. Second of the year. And the number 5 hitter puts the Padres in front, 1-0 here in the second.
Cue up the genius remarks. This ball gets out in a hurry.
Lugo out of the windup. We'll wind and deal. And this pitch hit in the air to right center field. Long run, Grisham still going back. He looks up. This one gonna go. Hosmer into the basket in right center. And Hosmer looking into the Padre dugout as he approached first base. Second home run as a Cub. And a 1-1 game here in the second. 1-0, Velasquez swings. He hits one high and deep to left. This one a no-doubter, way back, gonna go. About midway up the bleachers in left. Back-to-back home runs for the Cubs, and they lead 2-1. 3-2, runner goes, pitch swung on and sky to center. Grisham fighting the sun, using the glove to shield his eyes. Gets underneath of it, can't make the catch. Dropped right down at his feet, and the run will score as Madrigal comes all the way around from first base. Oh, you could just tell it was gonna be tricky. And Trent, who's as good as anybody in baseball in center field, he got to the right place. The ball ends up at his feet. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's it on the ground to the right side. Through and into right field for a base hit. Horner's rounding third on his way. Tatis's throw will go to third. Not in time as Swanson goes from first to third. An RBI single for Happ and a 4-1 Cub lead in the fifth. 1-0 to Sullivan, and he hits it on the ground up the middle, and behind second, it's into center field and a base hit. First in the big leagues for Brett Sullivan. Swanson diving for it on the outfield grass, nearly able to get there, but that one trickles on through, and Brett Sullivan with his first hit in the major leagues. 0-1 on Swanson, Hill deals, and this one hit in the air to left field, and well hit. Soto back into the corner, on the track, hops up, into the basket, and a home run. First as a Cub for Dansby Swanson, and now a 5-1 lead here in the seventh inning. Here's the 2-0. Carpenter swings, breaks his bat, sends one in the air straightaway center. Velasquez is there, should be deep enough. Soto tagging, on his way, he will score. A sacrifice fly for Matt Carpenter, and now a 5-2 game here in the eighth. On a strike to Cronenworth, pitch coming, that's hit in the air out to left field. Ian Happ coming in a little bit over towards the line. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Cubs take 2 out of 3 here at Wrigley. And despite the early home run by Manny Machado, Padre bats went mostly quiet most of the day. And the Cubbies win it here this afternoon, 5-2.
Well, we've had some trouble with guys that we haven't seen before, but, second time around, you expect to have a little better results. So, we didn't get a ton of offense today. We get 6 hits. We did have some opportunities again, and those were the spots where we came up short.
Yeah, same old story. Padres can't hit with runners in scoring position. I believe
coming up short.
11th time this season they have gone 0 in a game with runners in scoring position. It is very hard to win when you don't get a hit. I mean, it's not impossible. You need like
pass balls.
You can get a 2-run homer with a guy on first.
That's true. Yeah.
You can get a sacrifice fly or
solo
two.
shot.
Yeah, but it is hard to win if you don't get a hit with runners in scoring position. It's happened 11 times to the Padres in just 27 games this season. So more than a third of their games, they're failing to get a hit with runners in scoring position. And that's why they're 13-14 right now and not, a little bit better. They're still a game and a half out of first place in the National League West. Nothing has been lost at this point in the season. And as down as the vibe has felt the last couple of days, they did finish a 4-3 road trip technically yesterday. Against 2 teams that have been playing well early this season. The Diamondbacks, who were in first place, they took 3 of 4, And then the Cubs have the best run differential in the National League. They have gotten off to an outstanding start, and you did drop 2 out of 3, but you had your chances certainly, especially in yesterday's game. Just couldn't come through. So Padres have still won 5 of their last 8. I get an outsized sense of panic from the fan base right now for where the team is at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've definitely bought into that. I've definitely contributed to it. I've felt a little bit panicky. Yesterday I didn't. The last couple of days I really didn't. I took kind of time off of social media and live tweeting throughout the game, like, oh, great play, nice hit, Manny, like whatever. It's just better for my head, and I'm actually being able to enjoy the game a little bit more. As much as I do like to interact, I do. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem interacting. It's a fun part of the gig. But it just the negativity is just, it's so gnarly right now. And I understand that. I do. There are times I feel it, but taking these last 2 games off has been a better baseball experience for me. And it clicked in my head. Like yesterday was a game that was a bummer. I mean, Trent catches that ball 99 out of 100 times, catches that ball. Did
he now? You seem to, we were talking about this, you feel like he made a mistake in some way.
Yeah, I mean,
when you look up and you're looking in the sky and it's bright and blue and the sun is right there and you're looking for the ball, you got your glasses, you're shading. I mean, he didn't panic out there. He was as calm and cool and collected as anyone I've ever seen who didn't see the ball at all, because it landed a foot from his face essentially, and he just never saw it. Is that something that you can correct?
So, all right.
So I think the fact that it landed so close to him shows that he had it and then lost it.
If he's standing in center with his arms out going, never saw it. Never saw it. We all hit golf balls. We go, didn't see it.
He had it and then lost it.
He had it,
I'm not like,
I'm not blaming. He's a gold glover. It happens. I don't care.
My sense was he's a really good center fielder. So he saw the ball off the bat and he got a really good, I kind of know where it should be heading.
Yeah.
But then when he looked up, he just never picked it up out of the sky.
You listen, I mean, those are the kind of things that happens to a team that's playing mediocre baseball. And that's what they've played. They've played mediocre baseball. They haven't played great. Their longest win streak is 3. Their longest losing streak is 3. It's mediocre. They win 1, they lose 1. They drop 2, they win 2. They have not been on any prolonged run, but they also haven't been on some devastating slide yet either. There was one little stretch where they sandwiched a win in between 3, sandwiched by 3 losses. That sucked. That was really, really a tough stretch. That being said, a winning road trip is important. That's what you got. I like how we match up against the Giants, but as far as Trent Grisham is concerned, he'd tell you, I got to have that ball. I got sunglasses on. I got to have that ball. Seiya Suzuki had 100 balls hit right at him over his head, had no problem. I know he's in right field, not center, but he'd tell you,
could Trent Grisham tell you what he did wrong on that play? Here's what I did wrong
lost
here.
In the sun.
Yeah, but is that something you can correct next time? Well, next time I won't lose it in the sun, but
yeah, I mean,
how can you correct that? You look up, it's either there or it's not. He had his glove up there. He had sunglasses on. He had his glove. He was shielding his eyes. He was looking.
So
can you correct that issue?
Should that ball be caught?
I mean, of course it's
right. So
it's going to be caught, but isn't every outfielder in a tough sky going to have one or two a season where they look up and they just don't see it?
Like I said, I don't. All I said is that shouldn't be on Lugo. Lugo made the pitch to get out of that inning. He absolutely made the pitch.
I mean, he was already down 2-1 that point. Now he made the pitch to get
Hosmer.
He made the pitch to get Hosmer. 2-2 count.
It's right there.
Right there on the outside corner. But lit it up. Not just the tick on the outside, but he hit the center of the outside corner of the plate. Didn't get the call.
Great pitch.
And then came with I thought a decent high fastball on the outside part of the plate. Usually you're going to get Eric Hosmer on. Hosmer made a great swing. Now the 2 pitches later to Velasquez or whatever, Nelson Velasquez, that was a hanger that, you just gave up a home run and then you hung one and you compounded your mistake. But I didn't have a problem really with how Seth Lugo pitched in that game. The 4th run he gave up in the 5th inning, 3 seeing eye grounders. I mean, you get ground balls in Major League Baseball. Usually one of them is going to go at someone and you're going to get a double play. You got 3 in a row that just happened to go right between either the first and the second baseman or the shortstop and the third baseman. I didn't think Seth Lugo was the problem in the game yesterday.
No, and I wasn't enraged by Grisham dropping that ball. It looked like a really tough sky, and it clearly was. And we have come to expect him to make that catch, like basket behind his back if he wanted to. He's so good. He's so slick. He gets to so many balls. That was a bummer. And this team has let some things like that spiral on him a little bit. Blake has, when the defense has let him down. And it happened a little bit yesterday. I love the way
they only gave up one run after that play, or
I love
two, I guess. Tim Hill gave up the home run to Dansby Swanson.
I love the way that Lugo battles on the mound. Again, you got to play defense behind him, and I think you're going to be fine. You'd love to see more length from these guys, but again, you're talking about the 6th, 7th starters. Okay, like
pitching and defense hasn't been the issue with this team.
It's been hitting.
It's not the problem. If you're saying that Lugo or the back half of the rotation or the bullpen, I see people saying, yeah, the bullpen's been too inconsistent. I think the Padres bullpen has been absolutely fine this year. Absolutely fine. Yeah, they've given up some runs in the back end of blowouts. Whatever. I don't care about that. In high leverage situations, when they've been asked to protect a lead, they've done it every single time. That's what you want your bullpen to do. Your rotation has, for the most part, been solid. Blake Snell has not gotten off to a great start.
He never does.
Outside of that, I have not had a problem with. And Michael Wacha had a couple of bad games, but he bounced back nicely in his last start. It's the hitting, people, specifically the hitting with runners in scoring position. That's been the issue for the Padres.
From Snell and Wacha, how many games has our starting pitcher completely taken us out of the game?
None.
Maybe one or two at the most.
I don't even think it's that many.
I'd have to look, but every game we've a couple of runs, and you're either tied, winning, like right in it, right?
Yeah, no, I mean we're not hitting, and again, you had another instance yesterday where
when Darvish goes 7 innings and gives up 1 run and takes an L, like that's
you have another instance yesterday where you can't get a runner in, and it's just brutal. It's just brutal. Those are the ones that kill you. So listen, onward and upward, man. On to take on San Francisco. They got smoked yesterday, so you can win these games. It's going to be nice. The weather, I think, is supposed to be really nice. The ball's going to jump out of there. But you got to remember, they got hitters too. So you got to make your pitches. We've got our 2 best pitchers on the mound to do that and go out there and get 2 wins this weekend. You have to.
Sean Manaea, for all the talk in spring training, his velocity's up. He's recommitting himself.
Yeah, recommitted.
He's getting an ERA close to 7 so far this year. That's who you're facing in game 1. And then you've got
you have to destroy
Alex Cobb, I believe, in game 2 of this quick series in Mexico City. But day off today. Hey, a chance to embrace the opportunity to play in another country, expand the fan base. Padres have become more and more popular south of the border. We had a story on Channel 10 last night, and a Tijuana baseball fan was saying 5-6 years ago, say 90% would be Red Sox fans, Yankees fans, Tigers fans if he went down to Tijuana. Now it's like 60-70% Padres fans. They're really making inroads into the market south of the border, and I think this weekend is only going to help the Padres. So all guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. I want to talk about Juan Soto. I also want to talk about the move that Bob Melvin made with his lineup before the game. Why I think it's the genius move that I would be using all the time if I were a major league skipper, which I'll never be. Ben and Woods coming back also with Take on Woods next on 97.3 The Fan. I was going to go on record as saying I would be a probably pretty bad major league manager.
No, I think you'd be all right.
I don't think I'd be able to manage the modern baseball personalities that well.
Would be the more difficult.
I think that's the hard part.
I'd be great at slapping asses and
you'd be good at that. Camaraderie, building a clubhouse, chemistry.
I would 100%.
I'd leave it to my veterans to just kind of handle that stuff.
Kind of like you leave it to me and Paul.
But yeah, exactly.
I would leave guys in too long. There's no question about it. I would absolutely let guys try to battle their way through things instead of going to the bullpen.
But I know one thing I could always do that would make me look like a genius. It's a foolproof move for any Major League Baseball manager, and Bob Melvin pulled it off yesterday.
You're not going to say what I think.
When he dropped Manny Machado in the order to fifth, it's a no-lose situation. Think about this. All right, so you drop Manny to fifth, and he hits a home run, gets another hit. It's like, wow, smart move, Bob. You got him going. You drop him in the order. He doesn't do well. Smart move, Bob. Get a struggling guy, farther down in the order. It's a no-lose situation to drop a guy in the order like that.
The only person that's a lose for is Manny, really, or not lose because hey, you got a couple knocks. Trust me, he's not going to be hitting the fifth much longer.
Now that's the thing. Now the question
is,
you
screwed yourself.
Now because
he's back in the 2-0.
I can't believe you put him back after he hit a home run in the fifth hole, and now you take him out. What are you doing? Are you an idiot?
It's Bob? It's a no way.
That's the problem. There's the consequences that you have to deal with, and
as you know, consequences have action.
And speaking of Bob Melvin dealing with his players, I got this tweet yesterday.
I saw this a bunch,
and it was tagged to me and Bob Scanlon by a guy at Lopez Motors Z. He said it's insane, but Juan Soto is basically an instant out for the Padres, and when they have a perfect day game to give him a rest before the Mexico series, they decide to roll him out there again to struggle, not helping the team at all. Poor management for sure. And Bob Scanlon answered from the road in Chicago and said, Bob has offered him days off, but Juan has been adamant about wanting/needing to work out his challenges in game. He responded, so Soto's player manager and a ton of other people jumped on to that response by Bob on a tweet I was tagged in. So I saw all in my mentions. I just saw all of these tweets yesterday about Bob, who's in charge here? Is Bob not making the decisions? He's letting the players run things. What's the job of the manager if you're not able to even sit a player who's struggling? Bob's got to go. He's not in charge of this team. And I saw this all day yesterday because of this.
I've gotten it for weeks.
This one tweet, and
this is pregame, right?
Yeah, this was pregame.
Yeah, because he was on base twice.
I think Bob responded in game at some point, but ultimately, I think what no one brought up, and it's really one of the more important parts of the situation. I do think there is a time where you bench even a star player for a day or two if they're not performing well.
Happens all the time.
I don't know that this early in the season is the time to do it, but what no one brought up is who is absolutely killing it that you have to get into the lineup. Everyone who says you need to drop
Odor,
Soto in the lineup, you need to drop Manny in the lineup.
Who goes to the top?
Who are you putting up the top that is so good at this point?
Are we going to roll out Tatis, Odor, Sugar, give Manny the day off, give Soto the day off?
They don't have other players that they can put in those spots that you have any faith that are going to perform even close to the not great level that Soto and Machado have performed at. Manny and Soto at 20% of their usual self.
Better than what they have.
Still better probably than any other options that they have.
We talked about yesterday, the ceiling. Who has all right? Ask yourself, if you're in that camp and you really feel that way, who has a higher ceiling, Rougned Odor or Juan Soto? It's Juan Soto. Who has a higher ceiling, Zokar or Juan Soto? Soto. Who has a higher ceiling, Odor or Manny? Manny. Again, this is why track records do matter. They absolutely matter. Bitching without a solution is just bitching. That's just bitching. So if you have a solution, if Bob knew, if I sit Soto and put Sugar in there, he's going to get 4 knocks today. Soto would be sitting. He would be sitting. He would say, take the day off. I saw another one said, man, Juan Soto's dumb if he thinks he can swing his way through this. how else do you break out of it if you're him? You can't get hits sitting on the bench. Now, if you again, I think a day off would be great for him. I think it'd be great for him. Give him one. And it's also a little bit of, hey man, you're not getting the job done. Grab a seat, Bob. I don't think they're there yet. There must be something. I'll ask Bob this question in 55 minutes. What are you seeing from Juan Soto that makes you want to put him in the lineup every day? That's a fair question. Like, the results really aren't there. So is the work right? Is his approach? What's up with his approach? Are you confident enough that he's going to bust out of it? But you also don't have another option.
There's a big difference to managing a big league club and really any other level of baseball.
Correct.
T-ball, little league, high school, even college, even minor league baseball. There's a big difference. First, we need a contestant for Take on Woods. We're going to play here in about 2 or 3 minutes. If you want to call in, play our musical trivia game, 833-288-0973. Might be the last chance to qualify for our grand prize drawing. We have like 4 or 5. We had one yesterday on Real or Fake, but a chance to win that getaway to Vegas, 833-288-0973. The big difference, though, between being a big league manager is your players have gotten to the big leagues. They are already developed. And the reason they're in the big leagues, for the most part, is that they have worked very hard. They continue to work very hard. They are masters of their craft. They are perfectionists. You think Juan Soto is not out there in the cages before, after, looking at video, analyzing everything, trying to figure it out? You don't have to provide that motivation for players. So when someone suggests, you need to send a message to Juan Soto by sitting him in the game, what message are you sending? You need to care more? I promise you, Juan Soto cares way more than you do how Juan Soto is doing at the plate right now.
Yeah.
You Padres fan out there on Twitter, you don't need to send a message. It's very rare. You got a Ruben Rivera who's in the big leagues, who's just so talented but doesn't get it. That is very rare in the big leagues. It's very rare in the NFL, in the NBA, where you have a player that reaches that level that doesn't get the kind of effort, time, preparation that's required to be
and stay
a big leaguer.
To get there and stay there.
So major league managers don't really need to send messages to individual players very often. Yes, it happens sometimes. Juan Soto doesn't need a message. He doesn't need to be sat down to rethink his life and his choices. And, hey, you're disappointing everybody. This is a punishment for you. He just needs to figure it out and get going. And maybe that does require a day off at some point, but that won't be because Bob Melvin's sending a message to his star player that, hey, if you don't perform better, you're on the pine, buddy. That's not something that needs to be said at the big league level. It just isn't.
No,
so the audience are a bunch of hoes.
Yes, the audience, Paul, can be.
Not all of you out there, but, I think that does need to be made clear sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And the whole who's running the show thing, I mean, that's why they brought Bob Melvin in, is because he does know how to communicate and run the show. And I, again, can't wait to ask him these questions at 8 o'clock. And
I will say that Bob Melvin will tell you that the players should be running a lot of the show. I mean, he's there for a reason, but, in terms of keeping the clubhouse and everything, I don't think Bob really wants to step into much of that. That's part of his philosophy, is that it's the players' clubhouse. I do my job and they do their job. And part of that job is maintaining a clubhouse atmosphere and, keeping guys, sharp, locked in, whatever. The coaches are there to help, but this is a player's game.
Game. Obviously he's going to make the in-game decisions and things like that. But I do wonder if you or anybody else had the pen and the paper and you got to make the lineup for the day. Sure, you could rejigger the lineup in another fashion and move guys around like they did yesterday with Manny, and it seemingly worked. He had a couple of hits, almost had a big bomb too, just missed it again. He's very, very close. Good to see him smiling again, certainly, and getting on the board with another bomb. But what would you do different? Would you bench Soto for a week if you had the pen and the paper and say, no, man, we're Padres and you got to earn your stripes here.
And you want to see a ton of Odor out in left field,
get
where he's
Odor
never played
going
before, or
Engel's hurt, Dahl's hurt. Would you, Ben, Paul, me, you guys listening, would you not pencil Juan Soto in your lineup every day? Because I would. And again, if the guy comes to me and says, Skip, I need to hit my way through it, I have to. And I'd say, Juan, absolutely, man. I'm absolutely going to put you in the lineup.
If this is like a must-win game and we're eliminated, we need to win this one to make the playoffs.
I'm still putting Juan Soto
really
in the lineup.
Scuffling.
No, he's still.
We've got this guy who's red hot on the bench.
He's in the lineup right now. If he needs a day, fine. I would say the only non-negotiable. Yeah, he's in the lineup, and he needs to hit wherever Bob Melvin wants him to hit in the lineup. I think that's where he needs to be,
and
wherever that's going to help the team the most.
This guy tweets in, says Padres have had 2 days off in the last 5 days. An off day for travel is different than my team is playing and I'm sitting on the bench. That's different. It's absolutely different. He doesn't need to rest his body.
You're not at the ballpark on an off day on the travel. Like on Monday when the Padres were in Chicago, that was an off day for the players to either sleep in their hotel rooms or go out and, go shopping, have some dinner,
do whatever.
Have a day off to mentally escape from the game. To take an off day when you're at the ballpark,
is different.
Maybe you put in extra hitting work in the cages, because you're not worried about tiring yourself out for the game too much. Those can be valuable as well, but you're absolutely right. They're completely different. All right, we'll continue to discuss this, especially when Bob Melvin joins us at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock. Right now, though, let's get to today's game. It is time to play Take on Woods. All right, we got Steve on the line looking to end the month on a high note with a victory. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. I know you know how to play. We'll throw out the reminder of the prize. Beat or tie Woods, you qualify for a trip for 2 to the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Comes with a couple of nights and a couple of tickets to Barry Manilow, who is performing for his 14th year at the venue, the International Showroom at the Westgate. Get your tickets now to see Barry Manilow at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. All right, we've had some categories that have been sitting here for a while, Steve. See if you're interested in Do the Do. I may not be explaining that one well, but I'm thinking do this. It's just in a lot of songs. That's just the category. On and On, which are all song titles that end in the word on. And we've got a mystery category today, which you'll figure it out as you go along. So those are your 3 choices, Steve. That's what I've got for you. Do the Do, On and On, or mystery category. What's it going to be?
Wow. Let's do On and On.
On and On. All right. So, Steve, today we're looking for 5 song titles that all end with that little 2-letter word on, O-N. We'll have 60 seconds. Get as many as you can. Pass if you don't know it. We'll come back to it. Start with our 2-second song. Paulie will play a song, the title of which ends in the word on. You need to give me that title and the artist to score the point. We go on from there. Steve, you ready to play?
Yes, I am.
All right, Woods in his isolation, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music in the category On and On. Good luck, Steve. Let's take on Woods.
Aerosmith, Dream On.
Correct. Which 1973 hit helped establish Marvin Gaye's reputation as a 70s sex symbol?
What's Going On?
Incorrect. Which lead single from the debut album by Wilson Phillips went right to the top of the charts in 1990?
Hold On One More Day.
Hold on, I'll give it to you. Name the title of Celine Dion's Oscar-winning song from the movie Titanic.
Pass.
Ranked one of Led Zeppelin's best songs, the lyrics to which 1969 classic are partly inspired by the journey from the Lord of the Rings books.
Pass.
Name the title of Celine Dion's Oscar-winning song from the movie Titanic.
I want to. Darn. I won't move on.
Back to Led Zeppelin, lyrics of which 1969 classic are partly. All right, you did get 2 of them. You got Dream On by Aerosmith, Steve, and Hold On by Wilson Phillips. Let's Get It On is the Marvin Gaye 1973 hit. My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. You throw the thing into the ocean and everything. You remember that. And Ramble On is the Led Zeppelin song, which I bet Woodsy gets, but we'll see. We'll see. He does have.
Woods is going to do pretty well on this one.
Feels like it's going to be a winning week for Woods, but hey, you never know. All right, Woods is back in. He doesn't get the category, makes it a little more difficult. Steve's score is locked in. He's on hold. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Steve.
Stream on Aerosmith.
Which 1973 hit helped establish Marvin Gaye's reputation as a 70s sex symbol?
Sexual Healing?
Incorrect. Which lead single from the debut album by Wilson Phillips went right to the top of the charts?
Hold on.
Correct. Name the title of Celine Dion's Oscar-winning song from the movie Titanic.
My Heart Will Go On.
Correct. Ranked one of Led Zeppelin's best songs, the lyrics to which 1969 classic are partly inspired by the journey from the Lord of the Rings books.
So many of them. On
the category, though.
Yeah, I don't know the category.
Yeah.
Is on something on. On.
I thought he'd get this one.
I should get this one. It's killing me.
He knows the Marvin Gaye one now.
Yeah, I do. Crap. On. How much time do I have?
Not much. My guess is it's done.
Did I lose?
No, you won 3-2.
It's
Ramble on is what it is.
Ramble on. Yep.
Just a little mental block there, but you did edge Steve and what is a closer game than I expected.
Whoa.
Narrow victory.
Real quick here.
Yeah.
I would like to dedicate that win to a very special tier 1 out there. Her name is Sierra. She is 5 years old. And I got a probably the nicest DM I've ever received from.
Is it because Let's Get It On is her favorite song?
It's a weird joke to make about a 5-year-old.
No, that's why it's funny. It's because it makes no sense.
Right.
Yeah. All right, never mind.
Unhinged.
That is he on? Did he eat bath salts?
Again, Ben? Anyways.
All right, go back.
Got a beautiful moment
sorry.
here.
Go ahead. Go back to your moment.
I got the nicest DM I've ever had from a listener last night. And he says, "Hey, Woods, I wish I could express in words just how much your show meant to my daughter and I over the last few years. I sincerely don't think that's possible. Every morning we listen to you guys while driving to preschool. The show has become the thing we bond over. You've never seen a 5-year-old get so excited over a game of music trivia as she does, especially because she has no clue what any of the songs are. Sadly, our run ends with tomorrow's show as we are packing up and moving to Boise to be near my wife's family. As a lifelong San Diegan, it's going to be brutal, but as you can appreciate, family comes first. Hopefully my daughter and I find something else to bond over like we have been in Woods these last few years, or maybe the app starts working better and we can listen from Idaho.
YouTube.
Yeah, really, I wanted to write you to say thanks. Whether you know it or not, you guys have an incredible impact on people's lives.
That's really sweet.
People a sense of community like no other show I've ever seen or heard. I hope you guys continue to thrive.
Wow,
Thanks
that's
to
amazing.
all of you for just being you. Sierra, that win was for you, my dear.
That is.
We wish you guys the best. Thank you for your kind words.
That is
You
amazing.
made me cry last night as I read it. It was very sweet, and it was part of the reason that put me in a really good mood today. So thank you guys. We wish you well. And yeah, I mean, just because you're moving to Boise, I mean, you can still tune in.
They have YouTube on
They've
Boise.
got you have it on your phone. You can get it on your phone. I think they're allowed to have YouTube.
Yeah,
in
you can
Boise.
listen on your phone through either the app or through our YouTube stream.
Right.
Either way.
He says he's tried the app and it performed so badly for him that he's like, we're just giving up. We're not going to listen anymore.
I know people it works perfectly for.
I know,
some
me too.
people occasionally have some problems. I get it.
Just turn it off.
And that's why we have the YouTube stream.
Turn it off and turn it back on.
Alternate channels.
Good luck
for
to you guys.
All right, we got Don't Do This coming up next. She also likes, Sierra likes the intro to Don't Do This.
She loves the intro to Don't Do This. We did, unfortunately, teach her, though. She likes when Hannah says, "You dumbass." She has not repeated it at preschool yet.
A moment that I would have dreaded from the first round of the PGA Tour event, the Mexico Open yesterday, is where I'm going to be headed with Don't Do This. I don't know where you're going, but we can find out after this.
I am going into the NFL draft.
Fair enough. All right, that's coming up next with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
building.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this.
Do not tweet that.
With Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
Got our Crossing Stream segment with Craig Elston coming up in just about 10 minutes. We got to get to Don't Do This. And you actually teased this one, Woods, but I'm going to kind of steal it. I mean, we had some surprises in the draft yesterday. You had the running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. Even he was shocked to go number 12 to the Detroit Lions. Like,
it's always weird if the Lions do it. You're like, oh, what are you guys doing? If some other team was like, this is our diamond in the rough.
Did you see how excited they were? That was the weird thing to me. I don't know if it's a full don't do this, but they took a running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, who no one had projected to go in the first round. And then they celebrated as though
it was like Earl Campbell.
He had fallen, 70 spots, and somehow they had nabbed him like the top guy on their board had amazingly fallen to them. It was weird.
It was very weird. But
it was weird.
Again, here's the thing that you always have to fall back on. No one knows. He could be Barry Sanders. Nobody knows. That surprise could end up being the steal of the draft.
Of course.
It happens all the time.
But it doesn't change the fact that it's quite possible they could have waited until the second round and taken the same guy who would have been there. That, even if he's a great player, if you could have gotten him 2 rounds later, it's always a better idea to wait. Now, you don't know for sure.
If you love him and there's something about him that you love, take your best player that's best for your system, that's best. If you're that excited about him, Ben, if they're that excited about him, they must see something special.
Bijan Robinson looks great.
He does.
DA, I was on the way in. I totally agree with him 100%, though. You can't draft a running back when you don't have anything else.
Right.
You can't build, especially nowadays, you can't build around a running back.
No.
He gave a couple of examples. I came up with one of my own, though. He's the cherry on top of the sundae. Great cherry. But if you don't have any ice cream and you don't have any chocolate sauce and you don't have any whipped cream, you can't be drafting the cherry on top of your sundae, which is what the Atlanta Falcons seemingly did. The don't do this that we both kind of agree on. It's always the hardest look. And it happens to someone every draft because someone's going to move up, surprisingly, which means someone will have to inevitably move down, surprisingly. And Will Levis, the quarterback for the Kentucky Wildcats, who was lumped in with those there's like 4 quarterbacks that were all lumped into the top 10. Bryce Young, who went first, C.J. Stroud, who went second, Anthony Richardson, who surprised some people by going 4th, and then no one called Will Levis's name, and of course the cameras would keep finding him back in the green room, the train station, wherever they had him back there in that epic setup in Kansas City, and it's always tough for those guys. Now, he could end up having the best career of all of them.
Of course.
It doesn't really matter where you go in the draft.
Aaron Rodgers.
Whatever happened to that guy?
Right. And you just watch these guys die. And they just die. They're dying. And so it's like, hey, man, let's get to him when we have comfort. Like, you don't need every 5 minutes to tune back in. It's not
it's
the
set up for this to happen. In this case, it was quarterbacks. There were 3 teams that apparently really wanted a quarterback in the first round. And there were 4 good quarterbacks. You know what that means? One guy is going to be on the outside looking in. It happened to be Will Levis.
Such a tough look.
It doesn't mean that everyone hated him, that he did something wrong.
Right.
It's just inevitable when you have a draft that's going to happen. And it's always tough. And it's always a don't do this moment.
You would have to put it in stone that I was a top 3 pick to get me to go to wherever they were holding the draft. In stone. Otherwise, I'm watching it at the crib.
Especially Kansas City.
Yeah, especially Kansas City. Man, this was a gnarly story. Happened a couple of days. We've had her on the show a couple times, but ESPN reporter Marly Rivera is now out of job. And I read it, and I went, well, that's pretty heavy. Then I watched the video, and I said, wow, that really, really happened. So Marly Rivera had set up an interview with Yankee center fielder Aaron Judge, and she got frustrated. There's a freelance reporter named Yvonne Gate showed up at the same time, also looking to speak with Aaron Judge. And Marly Rivera did not take kindly to somebody encroaching into her space and called her, I can't obviously say it. I'd be fired, but
an effing
C word, clucking bunt. rhymes with. So that was gnarly. And you see the video. I saw the video for the first time yesterday. I went, ooh. Now, I will say this. Happens. People are, no one takes themselves more seriously than people that do this. Nobody. It's one of the worst parts of the job. The rushing, the elbowing out of the way. Guys, everybody's got a recorder.
Pushing somebody's hand to get your microphone in front of them.
He's not going anywhere.
Get out of my shot.
We're all gonna get the same audio here. No one's breaking any news. It's the worst.
It was unprofessional because it happened in front of not only Aaron Judge, but in front of a bunch of kids who were right there getting his autograph. So, Marley was definitely in the wrong. However, I will say this. One of the things that has made Marley great is that she does fight with a passion for those things. And it's not easy. It's not easy for women in this industry, minorities in this industry. And she had to fight tooth and nail to get to where she is. And you don't do that by just letting some freelancer just step all over you on when you're supposed to have some exclusive time.
However, the freelancer is married to the VP of Major League Baseball communications. So maybe pick your battles.
Now,
I will say this
being on camera, it was not going to end well for Marley Rivera either way. I think who Yvonne was married to may have expedited the process.
No doubt.
But
here's the deal. If it's me and Ben and we're competitors and I say the exact same thing to him, I'm not losing my job.
I've seen Ben say it to Darnay.
Ben has said it. Oh, Ben, remember that one time he pulled that asp out of his pocket? He was about to hit Darnay in the back of the knee and I stopped him.
We were down there.
An effing B.
We were in the scrum for Bob Melvin, and
he pulled it out, and
he elbowed Troy Hirsch right in the nose. Almost broke his nose.
It's not worth it, Ben.
It
would not.
He's a madman.
By the way, it was, but apparently, and again, this is alleged because there's no video of the other incident, but she also has done something like this before.
She did apologize. I feel like, this can't just be the end of Marley Rivera's career in my mind.
Her side of the story was she spoke briefly to the New York Post about it. She owned it and completely acknowledged that I should not have done what I did. She also said that she's had professional disagreements with a lot of higher ups and that this was kind of targeted and they were using it as an out to get her out of there. But you gave it to them.
Don't give him a reason, right? And
100%.
You gave him a reason, and it's on video.
Finally, do this. Shohei Ohtani continues to do
mega do.
Why are we even surprised?
Spectacular
by what
things.
He does.
He actually had kind of a bad day on the mound for him. He gave up 3 hits, 5 runs, 3 hits though, which is a lot for him.
To the A's too.
To the A's. The Angels still won 8-7, and his offense was a big reason. Had a single, double, triple, and needed just the home run for the cycle. And I must
say, the easiest one for him.
No starting pitcher has ever hit for a cycle in the game that they've pitched. Of course. But everyone thought he did it.
I could have argued this is a don't do this just because of the freaking
everyone thought he did it. It sounded like he did it. Do we have the audio? It sounded like he did it.
Ohtani drives one, right center field. Baseball history coming for Shohei, but it's caught at the wall by Esteury Ruiz.
So both a do and a don't do. We're very late. Let's get on time.
All right, we'll get Craig Elston Crossing Streams coming next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Army Salute Fest. Win a trip for two to Miami Beach for the U.S. Army Salute Fest, the most amazing Memorial Day weekend experience ever. Even better than a Paul Reindl Memorial Day experience. This one-of-a-kind event includes the hottest names in music and a large showcase of top U.S. Army technology. Are you telling me that you have top U.S. Army technology in one of your Memorial Day celebrations?
That would be tough to do.
Register now at usasalute.com. Use promo code KWFN. All right, Craig Elston standing by for his regular Friday chats. We'll bring him into our Padres discussion and get a crossing streaming TV recommendation after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Most of our problems have been centered around the North County. A semi caught fire earlier on the North 5 coastline at Las Pulgas. Looks like that has cleared up. And a crash at clearing stage on southbound 5 at the East 78 connector. That's over to the right shoulder. Some large debris reported on the westbound 76 transition to southbound 15. Southbound 15, we still have this accident before Gopher Canyon. It's over to the right shoulder. And on the northbound side of the 15 at Valley Parkway, there is a crash in the clearing stage. I'm Kelly Danek. The Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Now let's go out to our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Welcome. I'm so sorry about your Sockers, Craig. It was so close. I watched it on the stream, the overtime mini game loss to Monterey that ended the season last week, but gotta be a bummer. Not Monterey, it was Chihuahua, yeah.
Yeah, sports, right?
Yeah, sports.
And soccer and overtime and things that can steal your heart and get you in a split second. And that's certainly what happened a week ago at the arena. Great work by the home team to win the full game, to force the knockout game. It was an incredible contest. Great sports all the way around. And a really well-deserved final goal for the Chihuahua Savage. And now, Sockers pick up the pieces. I'll tell you guys, I thought my season was over. It wasn't. We're announcing the finals for the league for English language broadcast. And last night called match 1, Chihuahua beating Baltimore in overtime 7-6. And we'll be back on tonight at 7:00 on Sirius XM radio, as well as on Twitch on MASL_soccer2, doing a simulcast for the Blast and the Savage to decide it all tonight. So still wrapped in it, but definitely it stung for the whole weekend.
We talked about it on Monday because I was watching on Twitch as well last Friday, and you had I don't know. I guess it was a great call for the losing goal, but like, how tough is that when you're the home guy, but you got to be the Switzerland, like walk the line? Right. You did very well. That would be tough.
Well, thank you, Paul. I do appreciate that. I mean, and it is. I mean, it's tough, but one thing I've learned over the years, especially in this league, the home team does the broadcast for the most part, which means the visiting fans are watching. The home fans are generally at the arena. Some are watching remotely, but a lot of visiting fans are watching. So I really try to think of each and every one of our broadcasts as CBS, Fox, ESPN, like, doing a network style call. Obviously, everyone knows we want San Diego to win, but I think about that a lot, to be honest with you, Paul. And I will just tell you that whatever it was, 40 plus minutes of that overtime contest of the knockout game, I was doing a lot of just say who's out there, just describe the play, make the call, don't let your emotions into it, because otherwise, your heart's like being twisted. It's
awful. It's like, thank God the Padres don't get a lot of the TBS Don Orsillo games. That would be so awful to hear him celebrating.
To have Don be like, deep shot by Acuna. You're like, Don, what are you doing? I think it's happened before, and I've been like, all right, this sucks. I don't like this one bit. Speaking of those Padres, Craig, I know you had your theory at the beginning of the year. This is kind of going to plan for you. Are you a wizard? Because I gotta say, man, I couldn't have picked a game under 500 on this date. I would have laughed at somebody. You said, what was your date? You remember?
May 15th.
May 15th was your date. You said around 500. And so we've been kind of around there. Number one, why did you think that? And number two, Can you change it, Wizard, dear Wizard Craig?
Can you please issue a different prediction?
Yes, please make a new prediction.
So you can be wrong like the rest of us?
Yes.
Right. I would suggest, Woodsy, that if my prediction was indeed correct, then we need to follow through, because from May 15th to the end, they're supposed to be the best team in baseball. So maybe we're putting in the work on the spell now
we're
in order
building
for
the
it to
bridge.
pay off.
Yeah, we're building the bridge right now with a couple of wins, 3 losses, a win, 3 more losses, a win. No, it's look, I yesterday kind of got back to having fun watching the game again. It had been feeling very playoffy to me. And then I looked at the calendar, I looked at the schedule, and I said, we're good. We're going to be fine. A lot of games left to play, a lot of great players on that team. And, one thing you can be sure of, if a team needs to be rejiggered at the break, that AJ Preller likes to rejigger. Doesn't always work. Guys.
I don't know that he can this time. I mean,
sure he can.
What can he do?
What can't he do?
There's just not as much flexibility anymore.
You say that every time. There's absolutely flexibility. You have prospects. They always want his prospects, and those prospects are playing really well.
It's not that he can't figure out people to trade away. Other than like catcher, where
and
you could clearly
bullpen,
upgrade
catcher, bullpen starter.
Yeah, but that adding a bullpen piece and adding, upgrading the catching position is not necessarily a game changer. He can work in the edges of the roster, but you're not taking Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth.
No, we're pretty locked
Xander
in.
Bogaerts.
Yeah,
probably Trent Grisham even out of your lineup at this point.
You're pretty locked in
your lineup.
to most of those guys, but there's moves to bolster a team. That's all I'm saying is if you need bolstering at the break, you can get bolstered.
You can. I don't know that you'll have to. I think that this is a very, very good club. And to answer the first question you asked me, which is why I thought they would get off to a slow start, there were a couple of prevailing reasons. I'll begin with this was a club that basically didn't have a spring training together. They got together for about a week, and then almost every key player on the team scattered to 4 or 5 different locations internationally. And then they came back together about 4 days before opening day, and we're supposed to go like, voila, microwave team. Everything is going to be perfect. Clearly, it wasn't, and it's not, and it's continuing not to be. Second to that was the fact that there were some issues on the fringe, and in particular with the pitching staff coming into the season. Unlike last year, it looked like a much less settled 6-man rotation beginning of the year. Sure enough, Musgrove out at the start of the year. Darvish was slow to warm up. Blake Snell, right? Like just Blake Snell doing Blake Snell things that are always obnoxious in the first half of the year. No Suarez, no Pomerantz, no Morejon. Those were 3 power arms taken out of the bullpen. Now we're seeing it's basically been Tim Hill, Steven Wilson just about every day for the Padres out of that pen. Hader's obviously terrific, but those were all the reasons I thought there could be a slow start, combined with no Toddy. Right? 20 games of waiting for Fernando to come back. Now we're in that second phase that I did also predict of it's going to take a couple 3 weeks for this team to put it all together. No one was out there in March going, well, Manny Machado is going to have a 565 OPS at the end of April, or Juan Soto is going to hit 170 something. Like, obviously those 2 dudes are not playing well, and they have to play better. And that's all there is to it. And I was actually thinking about this, listening to you guys the other day, that it's got to be tough. And it's something we almost all have to learn as San Diego Padres fans and in the media and the chatterati. Like, this is our team. We've committed multiple players to zillion-year contracts. And so when Manny Machado gets off to a tough start, there's no recourse. It's just play him. He better get better.
Yep.
And that's mostly the rest of the team.
Yeah, and we got Bob Melvin coming up next at the top of the hour. It's one of the things going to ask him about. I mean, he was saying, do you want a day off? And Juan Soto says, I don't. I want to keep playing. I kind of think you have to then keep playing him. You don't have other options to go to, especially with a superstar laden team. I like your phrase. It's ride or die with these guys for quite some time now.
Right. Yeah. Don't like the left side of the infield? Check back with us in 11 years.
It's going to be a rough go for you. I'll see you when I'm 57 or 58. Oh man, no, it's a good point you make, Craig, and yeah, I mean, look, it's you must be feeling better. That you're like, oh, I knew this was. I did not think this was coming, and I the pitching has been, yeah, everything you said is absolutely true. What surprises me and staggers me is just a complete lack of offense, hitting with runners in scoring position. We have good hitters, they're just not hitting. I mean, it's like Moneyball. If he's a good hitter, why isn't he hitting good? It's that. It feels like it's too simple sometimes. But yeah, they're not capitalizing on opportunities and frankly rare opportunities to drive guys in at times. So it can be a bit frustrating.
Let's get to the Crossing Streams recommendation. I always like the phenomenon where you're recommending something that's already kind of heading to the finish line, because if you haven't started it, you have you can catch up, you can get up with everybody, and then ride to the end with people who've been diehard fans of the show. And we're talking about Barry this week.
Absolutely. And, guys, I always try to give you a pretty solid mix. And I want to say sort of a 75-25 or 80-20 mix of new shows, things that I'm finding, discovering for the first time versus repeat recommendations. But there are certain shows I am absolutely thrilled to repeat recommend every season until they are off the air. That was Succession a couple of weeks ago, and it's Barry this week. Barry has been, for the last 4 years, one of the best shows on television. Bill Hader writes, directs, and stars in every episode. It is the darkest comedy. Like, there's dark comedy and then there's Barry, maybe the darkest comedy. But I want to underline and highlight comedy. Barry is extremely funny, and it takes down Hollywood in savage ways. It takes down our society in savage ways. It's always got a winking brilliance to it. And some of the supporting performances on this show are just dynamite. Henry Winkler has had, a late career renaissance for his Gene Cousineau, full of himself, former actor turned acting coach that is one of the primary foils on this show. Stephen Root is absolutely outstanding. Sarah Goldberg, brilliant. And Anthony Carrigan as NoHo Hank, picked up Oscar noms. I think he's kind of been the face of the show, but consistently extremely funny with a thought-provoking twist to it. Barry is, again, one of the best shows on television. It's half-hour comedy drama, so you can catch up. There's no question that you can catch up on Barry, and if you've never started it, you're going to thank me later. So here is a pleasant recommendation to settle your life for the next couple weeks. Go watch Barry.
Barry it is, and I have started it, and I need to really get caught up. Though,
I do
so
too. I have too. I've got a little bit into season 1.
It's definitely good. Craig, thank you so much as always. We will talk to you next Friday.
Thanks, pal.
Appreciate it, boys.
Craig Elston, Crossing Streams podcast, and you can check him out on the MASL finals. Just calling two teams that he has no connection to, unfortunately. Tonight, game 2, the Baltimore Blast and the Chihuahua Savage going at it. Quick reminder, baseball season, of course, here. Live coverage of every Padres game on 97.3 The Fan. Available through the Odyssey app wherever you are in the San Diego area. You can listen to every pitch of the Padres on Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app and search 97.3 The Fan to get started. So we got Bob Melvin coming up in our next segment. As usual, I'd imagine there's going to be a segment of our listenership of Padres fans who feel like we're not going to be hard enough on the skipper. And I've found that it's inevitable. Honestly, we can sit here for 15 minutes and just scream at him.
You suck.
And some of you will think that we let him off the hook.
I get it.
Even if we did that.
Can't worry about it. Got to do our show the way we do our show. It's another realization I came to.
Certainly going to ask him about the team struggles.
No doubt.
Going to ask him about Juan Soto, his lineup construction. The questions will be asked. I don't know if you're looking for the emotional satisfaction of someone being taken behind the woodshed and, punished. That's not what we're going to do with Bob Melvin next, nor is it what I think anyone should be doing.
No,
it's not because we're the flagship. It's not because we're a couple of softies. We're going to do an interview with the manager of the Padres on a Friday.
I might try to connect with him. I'm just warning you now. That's a big warning.
How dare you?
I know, it's the worst.
How dare
just
you?
Rip questions. What is wrong with your lineup? When will they start hitting? Who will be the catcher? Why is Nola playing? Like these, if that's what you want, I can do that.
This listener wants to know why you haven't sent Blake Snell to the minors.
Right. Right. Yes.
Why haven't you DFA'd Juan Soto?
The minors.
There might even be some lighthearted questions
There might
about being in
be.
Mexico City.
There might be some
on
jokes
tap as well.
You never know.
So
You
you'll just
never
have
know.
to tune in to find out as the manager of the San Diego Padres joins us.
Feet to the fire.
Next.
Coming up
International
next.
calling card charges apply in our next interview on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
All right, halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. And I'm excited to talk to the skipper. It's been a while, and we got a lot to talk to him about.
Yeah, usually Adam Jones is our only globe-trotting guest, Spain, Germany, France, an island in the Indian Ocean. But today we go international for our Friar Friday management report, and we are joined right now from Mexico City by the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Bob Melvin. Bob, good morning. Did the travels go safe yesterday? You get through customs okay?
Yeah, safe and slow. So we got to the hotel at around 1:30, and so I'm just looking outside right now. I haven't been out yet, so I can't give you any info on the local flavor here yet.
You know, Bob, some would say the offense has been a little safe and slow to start the season. So I did want to ask you. I
don't know about safe, but slow, yeah.
So I did want to ask you, it's something that you see, you hear. When the offense is scuffling a little bit, you hear, oh, man, the approach is wrong. I don't like this team's approach. Now, you were a big leaguer. You've managed in the big leagues a long time. Tell us a little bit about approach, and are you satisfied with the way that guys are maybe working on their approach every day?
Without a doubt. Look, we have so much information that we give guys and can give guys on pitchers. So much information from their previous setups and so forth and where they are. Yes, the approach is fine. We're just not getting results. And whether it's, guys are pressing a little bit or everybody's, it's contagious and we're in a funk all at the same time. If I could put a handle on it, we wouldn't be, this slow at this point right now. But it is the fact of the matter, and we have really good players with track records, and we have to have faith that they're going to come out of it. I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody here, but that's the stance we have to take.
Bob Scanlon, who on the trip with you there in Chicago, reported yesterday that you offered Juan Soto if he wanted to take a day off just to work on whatever, but he said, I want to keep working on it in the lineup. What's your thought process there in terms of is it up to the players? Is it up to the skipper? I saw some fans go, well, why does Juan Soto have a say in this? Bob Melvin is the manager. How does your thinking work when it comes to a player who's struggling and where you're going to put him in the lineup?
I feel it out and I do what I think's best. So I had a conversation with him, and that's where we came to. He's probably a prime example of what's going on right now. A guy that you watch him take batting practice, you watch him go through his progression and pregame stuff, and he's hitting every ball in the gap in left center field hard on the line, and he gets in the game and he's pulling balls and he's pulling on the ground. So he's trying to correct it. Sometimes it's just easier said than done, but just based on my conversations with him, that's the decision I made, was to go with him. We'll see, here's a play. We're in a place where if you get the ball in the air at over 7,000 feet, it should travel pretty well. So, we'll see how it goes here and down the road. If I feel like he needs a day off, then he'll get one.
Talking to the skipper, Bob Melvin, here on Ben and Woods this morning. How hard is it for you, a manager, because you love the players, you do, they need to perform. How is how are their mentals right now? Is it frustration? Is it confidence that they'll get through it? Kind of give us, if you could, a look inside the clubhouse at how everyone's feeling.
Yeah, if we get off to a good start and this happens in the middle of the season, it's probably not so dramatic and so noticeable. I think with the guys we have at any particular time, it probably is, and we're probably getting more production from other guys in the lineup than the guys that we're really counting on, less Xander. But yeah, look, every day there's work. We have a hitters meeting every single day on the approach to an opposing pitcher. We had a really good talk. Some guys spoke up the other day about, look, we stay the course. We know, we're confident in what we do. We're going to break out of this, what we need to do, whether it's stand a fastball, look breaking ball, whatever. It's just not happening right now. And I know it's certainly frustrating for our fans. It's every bit as frustrating for us, if not more.
I know you waited a very long time to finally write Fernando Tatis Jr. onto your lineup card. How did the first week go for you to finally get to use that kid?
Yeah, look, it was great to get him back, and for especially for him, he just it's been a long process for him to get back in the lineup. So, there's been times he's been productive for us. Got a couple big hits the other night that won us a game. His enthusiasm shows up every day. I love how he plays the game. He really cares about the game. And, it's just nice to have him back. One guy's not going to be a quick fix for everything that's going on. It's going to be a group thing, but certainly great to have him back and just write his name in the lineup and kind of let him do his thing there at the top of the order.
And Bob, I haven't seen much on some of the guys that we brought in, David Dahl, Adam Engel, Campisano. I mean, Nola, he was hitting so well in spring training. He took that fastball to the face. It had to mess with him a little bit. And I know he's been scuffling like a madman. It's got to be tough for you. You know how hard it is to play that position. But when is Campisano coming back? And I know you were planning on using him more, and then he got injured. So what's the update on that?
Yeah, he still hasn't had a bat in his hand. He still's got some soreness in the thumb. So he's throwing, but he's not catching the ball. We're trying to do everything we can to keep his arm in shape. So once he gets back to being able to put a bat in his hand and catch bullpens and so forth, we speed it up some, but he is not able to do that. He's still probably several days away from something like that. So, and then there's a progression on top of that. As far as Dahl goes, he's feeling better. I think he's playing in some camp games. Adam Engel's been playing on a rehab assignment. So he's probably the closest at this point. But, as far as the catching situation goes, there are contributions that Knowles gives. Obviously, he's frustrated offensively. So, we have what we have right now, and we'll continue to push through it.
And I trust you because that was your position that you played. And the layman, all of us, certainly don't know how challenging that is to know every single pitcher, their repertoire, what the hitters are doing, and then also go in and contribute. He really has put together some great ABs. He has, and it's just the results weren't there for him. How's he doing, mentally, and is he trying to, stay confident and positive throughout this?
Yeah, he is. And, it bothers him that he's being pinch hit for. And, I'm glad it's bothering him. He has a track record of hitting. His at-bats here recently have been better. He's been drawing some walks, been sneaking a few hits in there. At some point in time, it's like anybody here, it's going to come for him too. But the longer it goes on, the more maybe you press a little bit. And, you feel it every day when you wake up. So, as a group, I think it's just, he's kind of going about his at-bats the way we are right now as a team, and they're not our best. So he is contributing. The pitchers love throwing to him, so forth and so on. Until Campy gets back, we'll Sullivan will get some games too. But, right now the part we rely on the most with Knowles is his game calling and catching ability.
Talking to Padres skipper Bob Melvin from Mexico City here on Ben and Woods. And baseball is, Bob, it's a meritocracy. You play better, you get to play more, good things happen. There's almost no exceptions, except sometimes when a young player still has options and you're working on a roster. So I'm asking you about Ryan Weathers and the decision to send him down, the conversation. He's done so well to send him down to AAA so he could kind of keep starting and keeping his arm up. What was that like the between the two of you?
Yeah, look, it wasn't just me. I mean, it was, Ruben was in there. We had front office guys in there. Look, it wasn't about performance, not for a second. He performed in the rotation. He performed in the bullpen. I think it's the 14th that we end up going back to 4 days rest. Something we did and was successful with doing last year early in the season was making sure our starters got at least 5 days rest to get them through the season. That's what we've sent him down to get ready for. Now, you can't who knows what happens between now and then, but at that point in time, that was our thinking, is we wanted him to be that guy that was going to bump back into the rotation and start. Whether it's one turn, whether it's two turns, I'm not sure, but he the way he's pitched, even after he only starts a couple times, he's certainly put himself in the conversation of being in the bullpen because of his performance. This was not performance driven that he was sent down.
Yeah, and I think that seems pretty obvious as a fan, even watching. The other guy, of course, was Nick Martinez, who was in the rotation. Now bringing him out of the bullpen. Man. As a skipper, how valuable is it to have a guy like that? We talked about him on the show yesterday in terms of those are the guys the championship teams always seem to have in their bullpen that can do a lot of different things. And we saw it again this week, Bob.
There's nobody like him, really. So, he wants to start. Everybody wants to start who, be on the routine and so forth. But, man, not only did he pitch beautifully, one time around the lineup, 3 innings, he gives the best of the bullpen, Les Hader, that day a day off, which is just huge for us when you're playing, we started 24 out of 25. We have a 7-man bullpen, all those things. And now all of a sudden he shows up for 3 innings in a win game. It's a 1-run game at the time or a 2-run game. Not many guys can do what he can do in his versatility. So it's, at least for me, it's a big, a big comfort to have him back in the bullpen, knowing that not only can I rely on him, I can rely on him for multiple innings. And he's a guy that gets both lefties and righties out. And a lot of these matchup teams really don't know what to do with him. They don't know whether to pinch hit. They don't know where to stay with their righties because of his repertoire and his success with both sides of the plate.
That's fascinating. I never thought of it that way. Talking to Bob Melvin, Padres manager here on Ben and Woods this morning, Bob. And I wanted to ask you too, your starting pitching, just kind of your overall take. I've really enjoyed watching Lugo pitch. He's a battler out there. Walker had a nice rebound. Blake Snell, again, 2 runs shouldn't be a nail in the coffin for any pitcher. I know you want more length from him. I know he wants more length, but is it do you turn up the heat on those guys a little bit more to try to get a little more out of them?
Well, yeah, we try to push him a little more. Blake threw over 100 pitches in those 5 innings. So, he's a notorious slow starter. Tried to do some things to combat that, in the off season and leading up into spring training, and it hasn't gotten to that point yet where we see the dominant guy where he has in the second half, mostly in the second half. So, he continues to work on trying to get deeper in games, for walk 5 the other day, which wasn't ideal and got him out of the game a little bit earlier. But, like our club is in general, we're not in sync yet. So, here we are, 500, game under 500, kind of meddling along. Things are going to come together. It just hasn't to this point, and you can't really blame it solely on the offense because there have been times when we haven't pitched very well too. So, we just continue to work and believe, and that's the most important thing is don't lose your belief because we're only 20 some games into the season.
Bob, now that you personally fixed Manny Machado by dropping him to 5th in the order, do you leave him there? That's the only thing that happened. I mean, obviously, that was the only thing, and Manny had nothing to do with it at all.
Nice to see that.
You move
smile.
him right back up. How does that work?
Yeah, probably today he's going to be a little bit higher in the order.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Manaya against the left. Tomorrow, exactly. Who knows what it is right now? Yeah. Tomorrow we've got Manaya, so we're going to try to get most of our righties up there as quickly as we can against him. So. You know what? Actually, the last 2 at bats from the night before, I think he found something. You could tell he was a little bit more balanced, and that's really key with him. He's not too quick onto the front side. Hands aren't coming with him and getting bad swings. So he's been working really diligently in the cage, and hopefully yesterday, not that a guy like that needs some results to have success and confidence, but he did, and hopefully that's a Kickstarter for him.
Yeah. One last thing for me. You mentioned the altitude, obviously, and when teams go into Coors Field, I know it's something you have to plan for with pitching and other elements. What kind of planning and strategy do you have in mind for these 2 games, given that no one's ever played Major League Baseball at this altitude before?
It's crazy, right? So I'm just trying to get through all the literature that our training staff's given us here in this day to figure out what I'm drinking and electrolytes and, everything. Are you just trying to maintain water in your body, let alone trying to figure out what, we're going to do on the field come tomorrow. So ball's probably going to fly. Both teams have the ability to hit some home runs. Should be exciting, but until we get out there today in the workout and see how the field plays and see how the ball carries, not 100% sure what it's going to look like.
Well, just pass on a message from us. Have fun, guys. Go out
Sure.
there and have some fun.
Yeah.
I want them to.
Yeah, I have mentioned that one.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll do that again. From you guys, it might have a little more.
Yes, it might. It might carry a little more weight. Thank you so much, Bob, for your time. Good luck to you guys, and we'll be rooting for you.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
Soon.
Bob Melvin from Mexico City. A little unclear of what day of the week it is now.
I love it.
Don't put Manny in the lineup today.
No.
You don't even have a game today, Bob. You're not playing until tomorrow. But yeah, he will be back near the top against a lefty and Sean Manaea. As he should be. I'm glad he heard my tongue-in-cheekness.
Oh yeah.
When I said, now that you
he's
fixed
dry,
Manny Machado, we're both dry.
Yeah, he's dry. I love it. So I liked what he said. I mean, he there's accountability there. Certainly, you can tell he's not happy. It's not flip over the table time yet because it's still April. That will grate on a team and
not just that. He said it with his pitchers too. I mean, we push these guys, but then you can't push then Blake Snell and say, well, since you threw 100 pitches in the first 5 and we're pushing you, we're going to need you to throw 140 and go to the 7th inning. You can't do that because you also have to keep the long perspective and the full season in mind. So you push guys, but you can't break them. So you ride that edge as a manager all year long.
Yeah, it's not the NFL. The NFL is 17 games, and you can ask guys to go out there and give everything they have, and you have to coach every game in the NFL like it's the last. And you do forget 162 is a long time, and you can't be managing every day like a game 7. I know you want to, you just can't. It's so hard to think about what the next day, and even the day after that, and then the day after that. I mean, you really have to set yourself up. It's chess. I mean, it's just so it would drive me crazy to have to do that every day.
You got a reaction to what you just heard, Padres fans? Our phone lines are open. Join us for our next segment, 833-288-0973. We will take some phone calls if you've got them. 833-288-0973.
We got one. Moreno in the chat says, anyone leaving that interview feeling like they're on the cusp of turning it around?
Yeah. Every time I watch this team play, I feel that way. Every time the lineup is announced, that's a good feeling. The result isn't always there, but every time they read that lineup, I go, God, hot damn, this is going to be amazing. Today's the day.
Yeah, I want to comment on that as well.
It doesn't feel like we have to get extremely lucky to win like it did 10 years ago.
Let's talk more about it and take your phone calls coming up next with Ben and Woods. We'll be back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
I did. You know what I liked? Welcome back to Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. I like that he said, there was one part that jumped out at me. He said, a couple guys spoke up the other day. And I know it sounds crazy to everyone when the guys stand up and say, hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing. They always say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And I understand that. I think in baseball, you almost have to be a little bit insane. And you can't make big sweeping broad changes to your swing, your mechanics, right? Like you don't want Manny coming into the box going, I'm scuffling. I'm now going to stand like Giancarlo Stanton, right? And be completely closed instead of the way that he hits. You've gotten to this point. You've made a lot of money doing it. You're one of the best in baseball. It's going to come. You stick to it. It's hard to swallow. I get it. But I did love that he said the guys, some guys stood up, and we probably know who those guys are, and said, let's go. We got to get it together, and let's just keep grinding.
I
like that.
One of the Brett Sullivan.
Yeah.
Tom
Sully.
Cosgrove.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the hardest things to do in sports, in life, is to stay the course when you're not seeing results.
So hard, man.
Right away. We did it on this show. We first, year and a half that we were together, didn't see much results in terms of ratings and
success
and audience
Yeah.
and pay and things like
Right.
that. And there were people
Times have
pushing
changed.
us like, oh, you got to change. You're doing it wrong. You got to do it differently.
I had friends that were loud said, oh, I listen to your show. It's terrible. You guys are doing it the wrong way. And then that same guy texted me a year later and said, I was completely wrong. I was completely wrong.
But
I couldn't have been more wrong.
I'll give you the credit here mostly. You wanted to stay the course. This is the show. You wanted to do it this way. It wasn't the way other shows had been successful, focusing on NFL coverage and taking phone calls and sticking to sports all the time. You wanted to do something different, and it didn't show results right away. But instead of panicking and changing everything, if anything, you leaned harder into it. You leaned harder into the thing that everybody said wasn't working, and you committed yourself more to it.
Yeah, we all did.
And eventually,
And you bought in.
and
Everyone bought in.
Everyone bought in, and they had success.
And
It's very similar to a baseball season.
And
that way.
had nobody bought in, we wouldn't be here today. So I am not, it's a good point that you make. But yeah, I think with baseball, it doesn't. Don't get the appearance that they're like, no, I know it's not working, but I don't care. I'm getting paid, so I don't care. That's not it. I mean, these guys are, bro. You have to have a massive ego to be a baseball player. You have to. Do you think a guy? I don't know. Has there ever been a guy that's like, I'm making $30 million? I mean, Hosmer had a little bit of that. We heard stories. His work ethic was not what it should be for a team that needed him to lead, and I heard it. He did not put in extra work. We talked about it.
If we hear that about anyone on the team right now, we'll let you know.
Oh, I'll absolutely let you know.
I promise you.
Absolutely, because that's not cool. That is not cool. And and that's something that we heard. He was asked today, we need work on your defense. He's like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't have to. I've got 4 Gold Gloves. And that resting on your laurels, that's not what they're doing by saying we're going to do the same thing over and over. It's almost a little bit, let's grind a little harder, which can grind you to a nub after a while. But I have a lot of confidence in him. I always have, really. I've been on the edge, but I have always had confidence that every day they roll this lineup out, I think today could be the day. I don't have the same vibe now as I did in 2021 when Jace was telling us, you haven't seen our best baseball yet. We had some good players on the team, but not like this. Not like this. We have not seen a influx of talent like this in a while. So they'll get it together.
Let's get the tier 1 reaction to the Bob Melvin appearance here on Ben and Woods. 833-288-0973. Alfredo, south of the border. Well, just like the Padres. You're first up here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Morning. The one thing that
losing you.
Boy, Bob Melvin had a better connection than Alfredo.
Hello?
Sorry, Alfredo.
It's all right. 833-288-0973. Still had a lot of reaction on our YouTube stream as well. I think there are, we hear a lot from the fans who are unhappy. If you feel like, like Craig, a little patience is in order, you don't necessarily call or tweet or comment about it. But I do see some, that are saying, it is not Bob's fault. You've got to let your players hit their way out of it. You've got to give a chance to your star players to go out there and perform the way they are expected to.
Brandon tweets in, Bob Melvin out here bringing me back to earth on this beautiful Friday morning. And then so another Capuchin SD says, Bob is steady and chill as ever. It's just what you want. I do agree with that. I think even Keel from a manager Paulie made a good point when we went to break. You want Bob sounding the same after winning 10 in a row, which we'd love to see, and losing 10 in a row. That you have to have that. You do. I mean, are there fiery managers? Yeah, there's some guys that can get attitudes and stuff.
Yeah, maybe behind the scenes in the clubhouse
could be different.
Totally different.
We're not
but
there.
I think the outward appearance to the media and all of that, I want him. I like him even keel.
Scott, you have to be.
Let's go to Dale next here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Dale.
Hi, Dale.
Hello.
Hey,
how you doing, buddy?
How's everybody? Good. Hey, is there any truth to Bob Melvin doesn't get to make the lineup?
No. I think with baseball, the way that it is now, I think that I don't know if there's one manager in baseball that says, I have the lineup card fully, right? That's true. That's just the way baseball is. I guarantee you he has a lot of say in the lineup, but I guarantee you other people collaborate on the lineup as well. Yeah.
I don't think there's as many options as maybe people really consider. I mean, where are you going to hit Fernando Tatis Jr.? He's going to be right near the top.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's not that many options. You're going to get your star players up early.
Yeah.
There's no manager in baseball who doesn't want to do that. Yeah, there's little tweaks, and I promise you, AJ Preller and his staff will have some numbers, and you will have some thoughts, and we'll present it to Bob. But it is Bob who is making out that lineup card. It was Bob who moved Manny down, on a bit of a whim. There weren't any analytics that told him to bat Manny fifth.
No, in fact, he's only done it one other time.
Yesterday. But, Bob thought we need to change something up. That's the feel that a manager has that kind of defies the analytics sometimes. And if you don't believe that there's not some feel in baseball, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm a huge analytics guy. And I think, teams that ignore analytics do so at their own peril. But there are over 162 games. You can't just go by the book every second of every game all the time. You have to have a bit of a feel for your players, a bit of a feel for when it's human nature. Sometimes things just need to be shaken up a little bit. And, it seemed like the right time to do it for Bob yesterday to move Manny down in the order. Now, if you batted Manny fifth all season, I'd say you're insane. You're giving up dozens of at-bats for a great player over the course of the year. The analytics will tell you that you are hurting your team by doing that. Bob's not going to do that. He knows as well as anybody. Manny Machado.
AJ's not going to do that either.
No, they need to be higher in the order because they need to get those guys up more. It's pretty clear. So, yeah, Bob has his lineup card, but like any other manager, they get a lot of input. They get a lot of it's a team collective effort.
Adam
in the Padres
tries
front office
to give us input on the show, and sometimes we take it and sometimes we don't. It happens. Hey, what about this guy? What about this interview? Yeah, that's good or no.
And you know what makes Adam actually great is that and he's okay with when we decide not to as well.
Absolutely.
He'll give us the info. He'll give us the options. And sometimes we'll go with them and sometimes we'll go our own way. And I think that's similar to what Bob has.
And not just Bob and the Padres. I feel like every manager. And I honestly, there's probably managers that don't have a hell of a lot of say. They probably don't. But I think everybody has at least one or two other cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. On every organization.
Thank you for the call, Dale. 833-288-0973. We can take more calls, more reaction to the Bob Melvin interview, talk more about the Padres and Juan Soto and his struggles going forward here as Ben and Woods on a Friday continues on 97.3 The Fan. Be right back. So what's going on with Juan Soto? Got a tweet that we don't really know exactly what it means. That's always fun. Live on the air.
Yeah, it never gets us in trouble either.
No, not at all.
Never. Hang on. I had to refill my water or I would have had it ready. All right. Article. Okay. I'm going to translate this for you. Ready? It's What's Wrong with Juan Soto.
That's the name of the article?
Pretty much.
It's in Spanish, I'm assuming here?
It is.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, I had it. I can't find the translate. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, this is more fun.
Just watching me drown.
Yeah.
Like Jack and Titanic. All right, here we go.
Come back.
There was plenty of room.
There was.
For both of them on that
She's like,
end table or whatever it was.
Sorry, pal. No, it was a door.
Bed frame. Door. That's right, door.
Rafael Zapata, popularly known as Pape, had Juan Soto in his program before he was signed. He was the one who had the vision to change him from pitcher to hitter when he saw that Soto was going to have better fortune as a position player. Given Soto's low
I didn't know that Juan Soto was a pitcher.
I didn't know that either.
Growing up.
Given Soto's low productivity, Pape has noticed that the Padres' stellar outfielder has made significant changes to the batter's box, which are not the ones he used at the Nationals that gave him so much success. Quote, he is opening up too much. He's covering the ball. That is not the Soto that I trained because I see Soto hitting with his feet very open, and thus he's not going to get a ball, get to hit a ball, even if it's thrown slowly, said Zapata. For those who don't know, and I say this properly, I made him a hitter so he can carry the ball all over the field. I made a center field and a left field hitter, and the results were there when he was with the Nationals. That most of his home runs were to the central part, even the opposite. However, now he's pulling the ball, and even last season, they got to play the special formation charged towards second base. I was surprised because that's not the hitter that I did, Rafael Zapata added while being interviewed at Z Deportes. Pape indicated that the hitting coaches of the San Diego Padres have also had a negative impact on his poor performance, since they should have never changed his way of hitting. There was a photo out there of Juan Soto when he was 11 and one when he was with the Padres. It's the same hitting mechanic. So the Padres looked at him as an 11-year-old and said, do that.
Don't do what
you've done.
What you've done that's made you so successful.
Do that.
Go back and hit like you were when you were 11.
I hope Bo's swing looks the same when he's 21 as it does when he's 5. So I think that if you see a batter's mechanics at work, don't take it. Change, because what gives results does not change. He also indicated it's a mistake that he changed his mechanics to seek more power, since he considers it better to be a contact hitter who's always above a 300 average. So that was his personal opinion, the last part. But he did say, this is the guy I trained. I taught him how to hit, and he's not hitting like the kid that I taught how to hit these many years ago. I don't know. I mean, I find I'm not saying he's a liar or anything like that. I do find it hard to believe that if you have success and then you start at a new company or a new radio station or a new baseball team that you go, this is what's worked. And they say, no, change it.
Well,
or you don't play. It's not high school.
The timeline is very important here. If he came to the Padres and they said, welcome, Juan Soto, we're so excited to have you.
We traded a lot of
You're going to need to make some changes, though, to do things our way.
Right.
That would be bad in my mind.
That would be bad. Now, also, it's a little far-fetched.
If Juan Soto came to the Padres and struggled for a couple of months and then struggled at the start of the season, and the hitting coaches started making some suggestions, maybe you could try this and that, I would call that doing their job.
Correct.
As hitting coaches looking at a player who's struggling and trying to get him out of it. So
because
the timeline is hugely important in a story like this.
I mean, in high school, in college, and I'd say even to some extent in the minor leagues. I had one of my buddies that played for the Rockies in there and made it as high as AA. Said first day he was signed, he's fast as lightning. They said, you're now a switch hitter. He goes, I don't switch hit. I've never hit lefty. They're like, you do now. That sucks. Like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. That would make me want to quit baseball. You signed me because I'm a right-handed center fielder that can fly and I can hit and I can hit for power. Yeah, you're so fast. We want you to switch hit. I don't know how to do it. You're going to learn. I'm a professional now. I'm going to learn. So, right. That's even at that high of a level, that stuff happens. I don't know that I necessarily buy in that Juan Soto's like, I'm just doing what they're telling me and it's not working. He did say, he said a couple weeks ago, there was an article and he said, I feel like things are going wrong and no one's telling me how to fix them.
I will say that I think there is, with Juan Soto and maybe some of the people around him, and the fact that he hasn't signed his lifetime, forever contract. He's made a lot of money, but he hasn't signed his bid. He turned down big money with the Washington Nationals. We've been hearing some, explanations, excuses, maybe kind of the word coming out of that camp, because obviously they don't want his stock to go way down. I mean, you don't want teams that are potentially going to be spending hundreds of millions of dollars on Juan Soto to think he's broken and doesn't know how to fix it. So you're probably going to hear some talk about how, no, not my fault. Not, obviously it's not something I'm doing right now.
If Juan Soto came here, and I remember he was scuffling a little bit with the Nationals before the trade went down, but you still make that trade because you're getting Juan Soto. And don't forget how excited everyone that's crapping on his head was at the time. You were excited for a reason because you knew what you were getting. He scuffled a little bit in Washington and has scuffled since he's been here. But if he just came and he was doing what he did before, would that have made Berdar just an awesome hitting coach? If he was out of the chute this year, hitting like he was in the WBC, like he was in spring training, does that make Cool Ball and Flaherty like amazing hitting coaches? I don't think so. I don't. He's a good hitter. He's just not hitting. And he's in his dome, and he's changed his approach, and it clearly isn't what he was doing to have success before. What Bob said too in that interview when we just had him on was, guys, in batting practice, he's doing all the right things. The ball is screaming to left center.
He said that, yeah.
Screaming to left center. Bam, bam, bam. Oppo, power.
Second,
you get in the game, you can't do it.
Second Ruben Rivera reference of the day. Ruben Rivera always looked fantastic in batting practice. Couldn't translate it to the game. Juan Soto has done it for many years.
That's the thing is like, every year we would say, oh man, Hedges looks like he's figured something out. He's hitting cage balls.
But that does show you why you have to let him fix it in the game.
Correct.
Because if I go to the driving range and I'm piping it down the middle, but then I go out on the golf course and it's all over the place and I'm shooting a 96.
Hi. I feel seen.
Where am I going to fix it? I go back to the driving range. Everything's perfect again. Ranger Rick. Yeah, I can hit it well in the driving range.
Yep.
I can't practice that, though. I have to actually go out and play to figure out what's going wrong. And maybe Juan Soto feels that everything mechanically feels good. So what's going on in the game?
There's a lot.
It's more mental than physical, maybe.
There's the weight of us, the soft media here that we are, the weight of the fans that were so excited about this a year ago. His family, he said, my family got mad at me for turning that deal down. Bro, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
I mean, it's obviously not 100% either way, but do you believe Juan Soto's struggles, Paul, I'll ask you this too, tier ones, are more mental or more physical?
Mental.
100%.
Mental.
Yeah.
Just like Blake Snell's are, just like Juan Soto's are. Manny, I think
Manny's
mental, but I think he might have
more physical.
I might have a little tweak, might be a little banged up, and he's going to play through it. I think that it is 100, not 100. Because there's things you can change. Oh, you can get your hands higher. You can drop your hands. You can close your front foot. There's some things you can tweak.
But yeah, people will sometimes look for physical solutions to mental problems. And they rarely work.
Never.
Dropping your hands doesn't necessarily fix a mental
correct
issue that you've got. And it's sometimes harder to diagnose what the mental issue is that gets you going.
I can't imagine, because we watch this team pretty closely. I can't imagine looking at Juan Soto and saying anything other than he just can't pull the trigger right now.
Going back to my golf analogy, you remember how Romeo fixed Tin Cup? All right, put your keys in the left in the pocket. Turn your hat around. It's like it's sports. It can be mystifying sometimes. Look at these phone lines.
Yeah,
blinking and blinking. We got at least one caller in Mexico City right now. We'll get to that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the premier auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Guys, this North County ride just won't quit. They did clear a crash on southbound 15 before Gopher Canyon, but looks like a lot of residual slowing there. Then up ahead, we are getting reports of another collision. This is right before Poway Road. That's blocking the two left lanes. And coastline ride's been tough. Crash cleared at the 78. Still seeing some residual on that. Up ahead past La Costa, there is a collision, not showing if lanes are blocked. Then an accident near Leucadia Boulevard. This one has got lanes blocked. We're talking middle lanes. Several vehicles involved in that. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, back out to the phones and down to the Ciudad de Mexico. And Charisma is calling us this morning. Hello, Charisma.
Hi.
Oh, God.
Hey, guys.
Hi, darling. How you doing?
Well, the altitude has got me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I was okay yesterday, but the pyramids, I was dying up there. But it's all good. I feel better, but we are here over at Our Lady of Guadalupe right now, and I'm going to light a candle for the Padres.
Thank you.
And hopefully that'll work.
I
on
mean,
something,
if it's
but
going to
let's
work
just keep
anywhere,
that.
it feels like that's a good place to do it.
Good
I mean,
place
you're
to
getting,
start.
you're getting the authentic stuff there.
Just don't film like a rap video in front of the.
Yeah, don't have Chris do a dance in front of there and
We don't-
rap.
we
or
don't need
anything.
any of that.
That is like grounds for divorce.
Yeah.
from him anyway.
Actually, I think there's been an absence of all of that. Maybe that's what we're missing to bring it back. you
No,
know?
you're like that. That was the trick the entire time. No, no,
Okay.
we're not doing that.
All right. Hope you guys have a blast. Other than that, how's the weather? Is it hot?
It's warm. It's more. It's like in the 80s. It feels okay right now, but there's good breezes that come through the day, so there's some relief. There's a ton of Padres fans out here.
Love it.
I've only seen 2 Giants fans. Just 2.
That's
one was on our
crazy.
flight, but one came with a Padres fan, so they kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah, that's even.
We had like a car drive by us with Giants fans saying "Go Giants," but otherwise we've been seeing Padres fans everywhere. We just ran into a group here, and they're doing like a tour guide thing. But otherwise, I feel like this weekend will feel like a true home game for the most part.
Yeah, it's a home game on the calendar, and it based on what everybody, everyone's tweeting everything. It's going to be a home game.
They are the only team in Major League Baseball whose team nickname is in Spanish.
That's exactly right.
You know?
Exactly right. Can you say Padres?
It's only one R. You don't have
I know,
to
but
roll it.
I like to.
Padres.
Yeah, good, very good. Well done. Charisma.
All right. Yeah, Chris was like, you should call in. And I'm like, okay. And I had trouble calling in because I forgot I'm international. So I kept calling the number without the +1. Yeah, and I was getting a 1-0, and I'm like, oh God, that's not the right one.
Well, thank you
So I
for
was like,
calling.
oh, yeah.
Hope you guys have a blast. Give our love to our beloved King Chris, and we will see you guys soon.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Thanks,
bye.
Charisma. 833. No, I don't even remember. Now we get international. 01-833-288-0973. If you're dialing us internationally, I think. I'm not even sure how international calls totally work.
I don't know.
Let's go to Chance. You were next up here on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Sorry.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, man.
This is what I think what's going on with Juan Soto. And it's just from what I've read, from what I've seen. He's in front. He needs to relax, breathe, and get his eye back onto the ball.
Yeah.
There's a big thing last night I watched on ESPN last night. I forget who was commentating it, but he was showing the things that Juan Soto was doing. He's in front of the ball. Like, he needs to be his power. He's hitting the ball way in front of him.
Yeah.
So he's just not seeing the ball properly.
He's not letting they say he's not letting it get deep. And when it does get deep, it's too deep and it's past him and it's on the corner and he's not spraying it to left field. I said it the other day. Him and Manny, they're not on time. And that is the most important thing to be able to hit. You got to be on time.
I think that's a pretty good observation, actually, Chance. And it actually reinforces what we've been talking about, how difficult it is to fix something, because you hear the fans and everyone screaming, he needs to do this. He needs to do more. He needs to do more. Sometimes the answer, and this is always the hardest answer, is sometimes you need to do less.
Do less, puppy.
Sometimes you need to relax a little bit. And it's the last instinct we all have. If things are not going well, most of us, and I guarantee you, type A baseball players, they want to grind harder.
Yeah.
They want to do more. They want to be even, more ready at the plate, really ready to attack that pitch as it's coming. And sometimes the solution is do a little less. Relax a little bit more.
I'm really good at doing
Let
less.
it come to you.
When Ben will get panicked, he'll go, "We don't have anything tomorrow." I go, hey, good. We are at our best.
It's true. I'm the I squeeze a little tighter.
He is 300 balls off the tee, and I'm like, I'm rolling out of bed and stepping
Woods,
up.
like our Daily Ditty song today, will hold on a little more loosely.
A little more loose. I say, hey, this is fun. Use it as an opportunity. It's a completely blank canvas, and let's have some fun with it. And it usually works. It really does. So, yeah, it's like forgetting Sarah Marshall. Don't do anything, okay? Don't do anything.
Do more than that.
Well, you have to do a little more than that. You can't just sit there.
But I will say, as the kind of person who just wants to do more,
you're the Tommy Pham, 500
drives
balls.
me crazy.
Yeah, you're 500 balls off
you
the tee.
want to do it your way.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we can't do it that way.
Do less.
And baseball is oftentimes that way. But knowing the difference is also impossible because you do less and then you can really look bad.
Yeah. You just stand up there like, no, swing, still swing. But just don't look so tense. Oh, okay. All right, now I'll swing. He just stands there with his bat on his shoulder. You told me to do less. I'm standing here.
Come on.
We don't want you paralyzed by analysis.
It kind of feels that way sometimes, when he doesn't have.
I feel like those are conflicting ideologies.
Yeah, I know. Just do less, man. Do less. Don't overthink it.
All right, we will have time for more calls in our final hour. We also have a Reindl report, maybe get a little bit more into what happened yesterday in the NFL draft, but it'll be mostly Padres talk as usual. 833-288-0973 if you want to join us. And, of course, it's Friday. That means we will wrap things up with some flubs and put a smile on your face before we head out of here for the weekend.
Paulie's got one of the eye-washiest stories I think I've ever seen in sports coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's interesting, though. There are some layers to this
I'm probably
story.
going to get dragged for it, but I think it's eye-wash.
19 hours down, actually plus, because we did a long show yesterday. 1 hour to go on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
That's not it at all. Do less. Get down. Try less. Do it again. Pop up. Nope. Too slow. Do less. Pop up. Pop up. You're doing too much. Do less. Pop down. Pop up now. Stop. Get down. Get down there. Remember, don't do anything. Nothing.
Don't try
Pop
to
up.
surf.
Well, you got to do more than that because you're just laying. That looks like you're boogie boarding. Just do it. Feel it. Pop up. Yeah, that wasn't quite it, but we're gonna figure it out there. Let's go surfing. Come on.
Paul Rudd, this is amazing. Grant tweets in, Benny. He says, moving to a new organization / company, having to adapt to their style of management or sales process is actually super common. I deal with it in my career. Who's to say the Padres didn't do exactly that? You can't act like it's not a common occurrence. I'm not saying it's not a common occurrence. What I'm saying is that you don't trade for a hitter and then try to change that hitter. You don't trade for a big arm at the. Who's the best pitcher in baseball right now?
Ooh, Garrett Cole right now is probably the best pitcher in baseball, at least at this moment.
So,
5-0.
So you don't
like a point something ERA.
So you don't trade for Garrett Cole, get him here, and go throw sidearm. You don't.
We believe in the sidearm approach here.
Yeah, we really like you at 3/4.
Team.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not as simple. And I know what you're saying, Grant. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not. It just when you trade for a hitter like Juan Soto, you know what the only thing you tell him? Hey, have fun. Here's your uniform. Have a ball, kid. Go do what you've been doing. Now, when you do start to scuffle because of whatever reason, I'm here. I'm on a new team. Man, these fans are crazy. They want a winner. The passionate. I was playing to 400 people in Washington. I'm going to start pressing. Okay, once you start pressing, then you go and say, "Man, I'm dying. What are you seeing? You seeing anything?" And then they say, "Yeah, maybe you try flattening your swing or whatever." Then it may happen. But I don't think what happens is he got here and said, "Well, I'm here to do it the Padres way. You guys want me rolling over to second base and walking?" I don't think that's the case. I really don't.
I do wonder how much the fact that he turned down a big contract is weighing on him.
It's massive.
And
it wouldn't be massive to everyone.
Well, you can say, well, the solution would be just lock him up long term and let him get that off of his plate. Like he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. You are good to go. I don't know that Scott Boras and Juan Soto would do that right now. I don't know that the Padres can do that right now. He's going to have to figure out a way to start being Juan Soto again with the uncertainty of his future still out there. I mean, he's not a free agent for another more than a year and a half. This can't be something that mentally weighs on him for the next season and a half.
It just can't.
Especially when you hire an agent who is all about going to free agency and, squeezing every last dollar out.
You know that with every strikeout, there's $50,000. I mean, that's how your mind works. He's a kid. He's a kid. He's younger than half the AAA rosters, man. He's a kid who's had some success, and now he isn't. That's got to be gnarly. And I know it sounds like excuse making, but don't forget the way you felt the day that trade was pulled off. Don't forget that. It's important. If you want to flip-flop now and turn your back, that's okay, man. That's your right to do. I'm not even telling you that you're necessarily wrong. But remember why they got him. If he remembers who he is, we're in good shape. But you can see it grinding on him and wearing on him. And you hear Bob Melvin talk about how he's so relaxed and so good when he's working on his game. But when he gets into the game, he just can't pull the trigger. And he's locked up. And I don't know what's going to get him out of it. I don't know. You sacrifice a live rooster. I'd do whatever it took, man, because I love that kid. I feel for that kid. I really feel for him. I can't imagine Adam coming in and giving me an offer of $1 million a year and me going, no way. Our ratings are so good that we can go somewhere else and I can get double that. Then the contract runs out and the other offer, they go, oh, we're going out of business. And then I got to go back to Adam and go, can I get that $1 million? He's like, no, I'll give you 80 grand. Like, I can't even imagine what that must feel like. What would happen? Turn your mic on.
What would happen right now if the Padres offered Juan Soto, 12-year deal, $380 million, something like that, some insane amount of money, but less than he was getting offered by the Nationals. I mean, would Soto and Boras reject it, like laugh at it and go, we're not signing for that. We're not giving you a discount.
I don't know, because
would Padres fans go, how could you offer a guy who's struggling like that much money?
I know.
Why would you lock in to 12 years with a guy who has not hit consistently once since he's joined your team?
Right.
Would everybody be unhappy with that right now?
Know, dude. You would obviously think, all right, man, here's an offer that's, if you're Juan in his camp, you'd go, okay, that's at least like some security. Because does anybody think he's going to be working at Jersey Mike's in a year? Does anybody think he's done? He's going to wash out of baseball? I don't think he's going to wash out of baseball. What you don't want to happen, though, is him go to the Mets and hit 370 with 48 bombs. You just can't. Steve Cohen's somebody's going to take a flyer on Juan Soto if he hits free agency. Trust me. I would bet you my house on that. He's not going to be, you want it toasted? All right. Pain in the ass. Tuna's not fresh. It's still from yesterday. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So we know that. And the dude is it's killing him right now. To turn down that much scratch it's unfathomable. And he's kicking himself probably every day. Had he to do over again, guess where he'd be playing right now? Washington. Forever. If he had it to do over again, I promise you that. He bet on himself, and so far, it ain't working.
And I don't think he's mad about the Padres trading for him.
No.
I mean, that's what he wanted.
And by all
he's the one who set that process in motion.
100%,
They know that.
They know that. It's just so confounding. It is, we've talked to big leaguers, former big leaguers, it doesn't make sense. I agree with that. But I just challenge you to remember how you felt when you got him. How happy you were when you got him. He's had 275 at bats here, which is not nothing. It's not nothing at all. It's enough to look at and go, all right, he's scuffling. No one's denying that.
It's about half a season.
Yeah, no one's denying he's scuffling. I'm first one to tell you when he comes up, I'm sick to my stomach right now. For him, for us, for you guys listening.
And it's not like he's 0 for 4 strikeouts every day.
I mean, he got a knock, got on yesterday.
I think he's still second on the team in home runs at this point. He's still a plus WAR player because he gets on base and walks.
He actually is.
Got on base twice yesterday.
Yep.
Hit a hard line drive, for a base hit. He's not completely lost. He's sort of there.
He's pretty lost, but it's
not. There's no consistency to the at bat.
There's just not a lot of consistency.
All right, we'll continue this discussion. Take more of your phone calls. Right now, though, let's get some other headlines and today's Rindle Report
and get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right. Gentlemen, we'll start. We actually got a couple of football stories here. In the NFL, yesterday, it was almost exclusively NFL draft talk, but there was a big story, and it wasn't related to the draft. Lamar Jackson signed a 5-year, $260 million contract with 185 of that guaranteed money.
Know what he had to pay his agent? $0.
Yeah.
His mom did a lot of the work, apparently, negotiating the deal. I saw, even if the agent was only going to get 3% of that contract, he's still saving like $5.5–6 million.
A lot of dough.
And he still ends up as the highest paid quarterback in the NFL per season.
Pretty cool.
At $52 million.
$52 million.
He didn't get as much guaranteed as Deshaun Watson, of course. I mean, who's going to make as much as Deshaun Watson with how flawless his career has been so far?
Great.
But, I mean, he did pretty well for himself. Ended up back with the Ravens. It took a long time. They've been working on this for 2+ years. Had at one point said he wants to be traded.
Yeah,
but
it got a little tumultuous, and I was a little surprised even when I saw that
too.
He is going back to Baltimore. Okay, there we go. Next up, I actually heard this about an hour ago from Boomer Esiason on one of our commercials.
Thanks, Paul.
Sports Minute.
Thanks for the shout out.
Happy birthday. But I heard him say something. I got to look into this. So Arch Manning, quarterback for Texas. We have heard his name for a while. Obviously, a very familiar last name. He was the top high school quarterback heading into now his time at Texas. And it was announced yesterday. Steve Sarkisian is the coach. And he was asked about whether or not or how much money in NIL money that Arch Manning has taken. And Sarkisian said 0. You want a story on this? I got it. So Arch Manning, everybody is under the assumption that this was an NIL deal for him to come to the University of Texas. It was absolutely not. He has taken 0 money from NIL. And he got a text from Arch's father, Cooper Manning, the other Manning. That said, in the end, his dad texted me and said, if there's a message to tell any of the recruits that you're recruiting, it's that Arch Manning is coming to Texas because he loves the University of Texas.
Right,
he loves
fine.
the coaches. He loves the program. This is not about NIL. Now, look, obviously, any Manning doesn't need the money.
But now, he's not Eli's son, and he's not Peyton's son. I assume Cooper Manning is the least wealthy of all the Mannings.
I'm sure he's
Probably as safe as something. What does he do?
He gets to do a lot of those commercials, though, and things as well. I mean, he's definitely got a stream coming in of revenue.
Yeah, he didn't grow up in a shanty or anything. I promise you. He had a good life.
However,
they had steak for dinner.
Money is out there, though.
What I don't understand is so Steve Sarkisian and apparently the Mannings, get this story getting out there. They're putting this out as something like noble, something to be admired.
Yes, to answer your question. Yes,
why? It's completely legal to take this money. It's out there. Isn't it stupid not to take it? Everyone else is taking it.
I love radio so much. I'll just do it for free. And you can let John and Tammy and Rob and Joss and Paul and Ben know. Once he loves it so much, he does it on the house.
Is it okay to love what you
Adam's
do
eyes are lighting up right now.
and also get paid for what you do as well? Completely legally?
No, that's wrong.
Is that wrong?
That's wrong.
Does that show
It's
that you
wrong.
don't really
You don't
love
love
it that much?
You don't love
You really, really loved something.
Now, Archie Manning also weighed in. He's on board with it. And I said, Sarkisian said, the beauty of it for us, here's the guy who has an NIL value of whatever it is.
God knows. I mean, God only knows what his value is.
And his grandpa won't let him take the NIL money. He said, Archie said, you can take the NIL money when you become a player, when you start. So that's
from
Archie's
Arch
perspective on it.
I will say that I think there's some wisdom in maybe not spending a bunch of time filming Doritos commercials and doing that sort of thing, like focus on the football. But there's money to be had for like literally nothing. Like spend an hour at a car dealership and we'll give you $40,000. I mean, that's not impacting your life, your practice schedule, really, or anything that he could still be taking. So I don't know about that philosophy of the Manning family or Arch Manning.
You know, didn't everyone praise Tom Brady every year for taking less money so that they could build their team better
I really
to win
didn't.
Super Bowls? That's kind of cool. Sometimes you do have enough.
Is Texas up against the salary cap on
Right,
NIL
yeah,
money?
exactly,
And they're spreading- I did read this story. I read a story. I don't know if you saw it this week about what a recruiting weekend like looks for a Texas, like how much they spend, like $400,000. They bring in 6 or 7 recruits, like the Four Seasons Hotel. Like you won't show up. There's an ice sculpture, a buffet, whatever you want, at any hours of the day. All the activities, the dinners, the steakhouse dinners with the coaches, the whole weekend that you're going around and just learning about Texas football. They spend like between $300,000 and $400,000 just on that weekend to try to get you to take the scholarship at the University of Texas.
Reminds me of the wine and dine job Adam did for us to get us over here.
You know what they do at San Diego State on the weekend? Not much.
Mission Beach.
Yeah, they'll take you to
Check
the
it
beach.
out.
They'll show you the weather here. I'm sure you'll get some,
Adam did buy us lattes.
He did buy us lattes. And
I remember
Ben
that
was
meeting.
late.
I
Ben
was
30
late.
minutes
I went to
late.
the wrong latte establishment.
First impression of the.
I think it worked out well.
It did.
The first time we met
our boss,
who is now our boss and has been for coming on 4
30
years.
minutes
I
late.
established.
Woods and I just had to be like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I established my position there.
Yeah, you're like a
you,
dog
You wait on
barking
me. I do the same thing with both of you.
Yeah,
you guys wait on me.
It's
I don't wait
unbelievable.
on you.
It's unbelievable.
And then
it's
the whole
always
first
going to be.
year of our show, Ben showed up half an hour
That's
after the show
exactly
started.
right. What in the world?
My time is more valuable than
Than
yours.
ours,
That's pretty much the message I'm trying to give
You're
at all
unbelievable.
moments.
That's incredible.
All right, and finally, quickly here, got another sequel in the works. Apparently, Vince Vaughn is working on a sequel to the 2004 hit Dodgeball.
Man,
Yeah.
he hasn't done a good movie in a long time, and I was a big.
I think the
big
last
fan.
good anything I saw him was probably True Detective.
Oh, he was pretty good in that. Yeah,
But it's
that
been a
was good.
while.
It's been a while.
And
He
that's
had
not
a-
to say I haven't seen him doing much.
He had a
really.
He had a
Wasn't
movie.
his season the bad one though?
It
True
was,
Detective?
but it's still pretty. It's good. I
He
went
was
back.
good, but yeah.
I went back and watched
The
it.
worst season of True Detective is still pretty good.
You know what? It's good. I went back and watched it recently with a fresh perspective.
I mean,
and
he
said,
didn't
"This
write the
kicks
plot.
ass."
The plot was a little
he
weird,
did great.
convoluted, but
he had a movie, you guys, called Brawl in Cell Block 99, where he plays a prisoner. He's a hardworking man. After his wife's extramarital affair, they admit the spark isn't there. They decide to have a baby. He kills somebody. He has to go to prison, and he's bald and like buff. It's the worst movie I've ever seen. It actually has a 7-1. Hannah recommended it. We made it 15 minutes. I go, this is a good call, Gene Siskel. This is like the worst thing. We turned it off. I have not
All right, so,
seen him do anything in a long time.
Dodgeball 2.
Yeah, there's no word. It's still very early, but he's on board. No word yet on if like Ben Stiller, Christine Taylor, any of the other cast members from the first one, which I loved the first movie.
Yeah, it was good.
But nobody knows. All that is known really is it's going to continue the story of Peter LaFleur and his average Joe's gym. The guy that wrote the first movie, it's not known whether or not he's got anything to do with the sequel, but he did say a couple of years back, you know what? Never say never. I never thought about Dodgeball as a series, but that actually might be fun. I'm really proud of Dodgeball. It's my first film and something that people still really like.
He's been doing a lot of producing. That's what he's been doing. He's been producing a lot of things, but not really acting in a lot.
Love Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I love him too.
Thank you, Paulie. Favorites. Thank you. You're welcome.
Last Rhino report of the week. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Flubs coming up shortly, and we'll head off to our weekend. No Padres game tonight, though. You're going to have to figure out what else you're going to do with yourself.
Dinner with my beloved
on a
missus
Friday
tonight,
evening.
yeah.
We have time for a few more calls. Padres fans, the lines are open again. 833-288-0973. We're back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, Padres' third homestand. Technically, it starts tomorrow in Mexico City. These will be counted as home games on the schedule because they will bat last. They will be the home team against the Giants. But in all reality, the homestand starts on Monday against the Cincinnati Reds. 3-game series with the Reds coming to town. First game, I know Paulie's got his tickets, will be the first game for Fernando Tatis Jr.
I'll be there.
Back in San Diego.
Yep.
Game 2 on Tuesday, May 2nd, 6:40 p.m. First 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Joe Musgrove bucket hat presented by UC San Diego Health. And if you're watching us on the YouTube stream right now, you will see 3 large gentlemen in bucket hats currently on your stream. I'm very excited about this. My wife has been demanding I throw my old dog walking bucket hat away and replace it with a Musgrove bucket hat. And now I can do so.
You sure?
But I think Woods looks the best, especially with those glasses and the headphones.
Really hard with the headphones.
I'm just not wearing mine because it doesn't work with headphones.
These are great. Not for me. This is not my.
Very much for me.
For me,
Joe looks so good in them.
Yeah,
I
so
would
does
say that.
Tatis.
Yeah.
Liam Gallagher, Joe Musgrove, Fernando Tatis Jr. That's pretty much it for me. This is the wife repeller. Well, I just texted her a picture and said thoughts on this.
But the headphones make them look weird.
She has not responded. I don't look good in these hats.
The bucket hat comes in 2 fan-friendly sizes, standard adult size, and a smaller youth size, which may be what you're wearing right now.
My kids would look rad. My kids would look
They will.
really
They're
good.
going to look really good.
They are stylish.
Let's see.
It does. You're going
They've
to
got
wear that?
Do you see the details? Look at the bottom. Flip it over and tell me some of the details because they've got like Joe Musgrove, some
cool.
personalization on the inside of the bucket hat.
There's coffee,
of course.
619.
That's our area code here in San Diego.
44.
That's his number.
DCXIX.
That is a Roman numeral that means 61. No,
69.
DCXIX.
There's
is that like the date of the no-hitter?
DC. Let's see. D is 500. So DC is 619. Oh, 619.
619.
There we go. DC.
XLIV.
Bunch of idiots over here.
XLIV.
1.
That is 44.
44.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Yeah, that's it. Oh, and then the little like signatures, autographs sprinkled out throughout there. You are going to wear that out.
Yeah, I'm wearing it for sure. On my dog walks.
I
like to have good sun coverage.
Does that, and that you feel that you get that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You get a lot more on your neck when you have a floppy hat on. You know, I mean, you put some sunscreen on, but
you know what you'd look cool in? Those old Panama Jack hats with the 2 flaps down the back. Do you remember those from when we were kids? Yeah. Remember that?
I know. Yes.
I remember getting one of my dad going, this is it. This is the end of civilization. If kids are wearing these right now. Yeah, that would look cool on you.
Let's see. We just got a minute here. I wanted to shout out my favorite draft pick from yesterday. Did you notice that there was one guy with San Diego ties who went in the first round of the draft yesterday?
I did see this.
He was the tight end from Utah. Dalton Kincaid was taken by the Buffalo Bills, who traded up to get him with the 25th pick. But before he went to Utah, he went to USD.
USD, yeah, that's right.
And he didn't just go to USD, which is a non-scholarship school. He was a walk-on at USD. He started his college football career going up to Dale Lindsey and saying, hey, I'd be interested in playing football. I only played 1 season in high school, but I'd like to try to walk on the team. And they said, yeah, you know, we'll see what you got. Ended up having a pretty decent first year with the Toreros. I think he caught 25 passes for like 400 yards and had a bunch of touchdowns. And then they said, oh, well, we will put you more into our offense the second season. Had like 800 plus yards, bunch more TDs, averaged almost 20 yards a catch. He dominated at the FCS level. And at that point, Like, okay, you're a little too good for this level now, son. And he got a scholarship and a transfer to the University of Utah, where he dominated again in the Pac-12. And yesterday became a first-round pick. He's out of Summerlin, Nevada. But think about that. Only played 1 year in high school, wasn't planning to play in college, but walked onto the team at the University of San Diego. And 5 years later, he is now a first-round draft pick in the NFL. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt about it. Very, very cool. I wanted my guy to be the first tight end, but I get it. He'll go today. No problem.
Michael
Mayer.
Stud. From Notre Dame.
Yeah, stud. Oof. Beast.
You lost your quarterback to Alabama.
I saw that. Tyler Buckner on his way.
He's San Diego guy. La Jolla Country Day, right?
Yep. And he's going to Alabama to join former offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. Notre Dame supply the pipeline to.
But you got another quarterback coming in. You're fine.
Kid from West Virginia who is a stud, Sam Hartman. So should be fun. He doesn't paint his nails FU to his opponents, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good.
You see what the Eagles did as well? How they've got both the Georgia guys, Jalen Carter, who fell because of the off the field stuff, the driving accident, the racing that killed a teammate and a coach or something, and it was bad.
He was there, right?
He was not in the car that they died. He was in the other car. They were racing.
Yeah.
And then Nolan Smith fell all the way to number 30, and they took them they had 2 picks. Already a really good team. They're the Eagles. And now they've added these 2 Georgia defenders. Fairly impressive first round of the draft for the Philadelphia Eagles.
They were pretty excited about that, as they should be in Philly.
All right, we'll come back. We got our flubs of the week. Final chance to talk Padres if you want to do so. 833-288-0973 before we shut it down until Monday morning. That's coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Two of the three of us have removed the bucket hat. One continues to proudly wear it, though, here on 97.3 The Fan.
Took mine off. I'm taking it to Bo. Joe is his favorite. Joe is like, he loves Joe Musgrove. So I'm going to take this to him. I didn't want to get it dirty.
It's very
what are you doing with
thoughtful
yours,
of
Paul?
You. Because, as you know,
Adam wants one.
Adam does.
As you know, the most important things for 5-year-olds is to make sure everything stays nice and clean.
Yes, clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
I had
in
to
our
take
home.
mine off because I am an audio professional.
Yeah,
and I need to be
hear.
able. I can't.
Dad, is that
hear.
bucket hat in mint condition still?
It is, son.
Did you wear it for a while?
No, I took it off. You're good, bud. You are good to go.
We've got Padres baseball for you tomorrow. No game tonight on a
Weird,
Friday. That's
right?
very rare
Very
during
weird.
the regular season where you don't have a game on a Friday night.
I don't like it.
Even like in the All-Star break, you come back on Friday.
Yeah.
So every Friday, usually during baseball season, there is a game, but obviously a little unique situation. So no Padres baseball tonight.
What time is the game tomorrow?
It is at 3:05, I believe.
I can watch some because I've got a Seals game tomorrow night. Chong Arena last game of the regular season. Locked up the West. Get your tickets at sealslax.com.
You know me. I am a big one of 162. I mean, I want them to win, but no game is more important than any other in the regular season. Kind of want to win tomorrow a little bit more than normal.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
got Joe Musgrove against Sean Manaea, the former Padre, on the mound.
Yes.
And I feel like you don't want to get bested by your ex in this situation.
You don't want to get bested by Sean Manaea.
Especially the ex that said, you didn't really get my best. I didn't really care a whole lot.
Yeah, I know we were in a playoff run and gunning for a World Series, but I let my diet go and my workouts, and I just like the worst comments I've ever heard. And while we appreciate athletes being honest, that's honesty. I would have been better served not knowing.
Yep.
Which I think means we need to put a Ben and Woods wager on Sean Manaea's effectiveness in the game tomorrow.
Yeah, the old $10 bet from Ben and Woods. We're back to even.
Yeah.
I won the Eric Hosmer bet. He did not go off.
The
even though
whiteboard has come, so we
I
can
brought
write
the
them down
whiteboard
now. Yeah.
We are even. 5.5 Ks.
Strikeouts
Yep.
is what you want to do. 5.5 Ks. I will go over.
Okay.
5.5
the under.
Ks.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. 5.5.
That doesn't mean that the Padres can't still put up 4 or 5 runs, hopefully.
We struck out a lot.
But yeah, everyone strikes out.
Yeah,
on
everyone
baseball
strikes out.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Everybody
Lot of
does.
Ks. Lots and lots
I'm
of
going to
Ks.
regret that one. I feel like I'm going to be down 10, but I'll be happy that I'm down 10.
Yeah, it's $10 well
At least
spent.
I get to, if I lose, I'll be happy about it. So
We had a great interview with Bob Melvin. We had some great calls today. One cut out that sounded like it was promising, but everyone's been talking about this week this call from a listener in Chicago regarding the White Sox. I want to play you some of that. It's 7 minutes long. I want to play you some of this next because everybody's talking about it.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Listened to it yesterday.
Let's play some of that. We'll do a quick check of traffic.
I mean, it's literally like when we say it's 7+ minutes, they wind him up.
Yep, and he just
all right. I am into
He
this
goes.
because things are going worse for the White Sox than they are the Padres.
Our
that's for
new
sure.
rallying cry in San Diego should be, at least we're not the White Sox.
We'll do that right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Kia of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Tannick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. Well, it's still all about the North County this morning, guys. Now get a stalled car south on 15 past Miramar Way. It's over the right shoulder of the HOV lane. Crash clearing over the right shoulder on southbound 5 before La Costa, and a crash at the clearing stage westbound 56 at Carmel Valley Road. Viejas Casino and Resort is home to the best players club in My Viejas. Start earning points toward incredible rewards like free gifts, concert tickets, hotel stays, dining discounts, and more. It's time to ditch the other guys and join the best. My Viejas Players Club, Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So yeah, the White Sox again won another season, picked to really compete in the AL Central. Ben, they have been horrendous to say the least, horrendous, and nobody really knows what the problem is. We all thought it might be Tony La Russa, and I was firmly in that camp. I said, "Oh, they don't want to play for this guy." Who's the guy they have? Pedro Grifol. They hired him. Seemingly a much better option, but this call to, and who is it? Do you have it handy, Paulie? Sports radio call, Chicago. I had it. I often lose things on my computer.
I don't remember what station it was.
Here we go.
ESPN 1000.
It's Waddle and Sylvie, very famous show,
big time show
in Chicago, and everybody is saying this is the greatest call in sports radio history.
Berto is on the west side. You're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Berto?
What's going on, guys? Listen, first of all, huge fan, long-time listener, first-time caller. I know regardless of your individual allegiances, I love that you both look at these things objectively and you provide a service to the fans of Chicago. We owe you a debt of gratitude.
Gratitude.
I've been a diehard Chicago White Sox fan for nearly 40 years. I say that with the very express intent of sharing my deep and undying love for this team. And my call is rooted in heartbreak, not anger. Don't get me wrong. I'm angry, but it is a byproduct of a dysfunctional, abusive relationship with the front office and the ownership of the Chicago White Sox. I also want to say I have defended this rebuild. I liked what the team did with the trades. I defended Yasmani in Dallas. I didn't understand the La Russa hire, but I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I forgave the free agents they let go. I was befuddled by the Benintendi and Clevenger signings, but you know what? I said, I'm going to give them one last shot. And when they canceled Sox Fest, like the cowards they are, I knew something was up. But now we know. Obviously, the experiment is over. The vast majority of the prospects have been busts. The product on the field is pathetic. We have exactly 2 players of excellence on this roster, Dylan Cease and Tim Anderson. Everyone else is nowhere near the kind of player they need to be to make this a winning team. You'd think that would be enough to wake this organization up. But yesterday, Kenny Williams had the gall to say that he's not in a good place right now and accountability is not an issue. You're right. He's not in a good place. He's not in a job he should have. Wow. Think about all the promises that Rick Hahn made, mired in mediocrity, that he bragged about Romy Gonzalez in spring training, and I'll trade him if I get the right price. Think about the things Grifol said, come to the park, we're going to kick everyone's butt. They must have been talking about the fans, not the other teams. The entire lineup is batting under 220. The best hitter on the team is Jake Berger. We're a AAA team. Our right fielders are hitting 180 with a weighted run created plus of 28. I don't even need to tell you about the pitching staff. Katz has got to go. Moncada, TA, Eloy, Yaz, Joe Kelly. It's week 4. They've all already been hurt. Tens of millions of dollars on replacement level players while stars go elsewhere. We're 11 games under 500. The Bears needed
12 now.
6 months to get 11 games under 500. We needed 3 weeks. In the 15 years of Rick Hahn, we have been a constant experiment that has never panned out. In the 25 years of Kenny Williams, we had exactly 1 season of excellence with a perfect storm of players that has not once come even close to being the same. I don't want to hear about the strength of schedule in April. With the money we've spent, the players we have playing 500 ball should be underachieving, not 11 games under 500.
Pause.
We keep going after.
You could say a lot of that applies
here. Yeah.
They are 7-19 though. And they are now.
There's a big difference between 7-19 and 13-14.
Massive. That's a massive difference. They are 1-9 in their last 10.
But let's see, right fielders struggling. Well, not anymore, but there was. I mean, average wise for sure.
Yeah.
You got a lot of similar batting averages, all under 220. Check here in San Diego,
mostly. Yeah.
You've got some of the same complaints for sure.
We keep going after players that Rick Hahn liked 5 years ago. Lance Lynn, over the hill. Yaz, over the hill. Benintendi, he wanted him in the draft 6 years ago. He's got a .1 WAR. Clevenger isn't just a clubhouse cancer and a disgusting human being. He's a horrendous pitcher. Joe Kelly has been useless. We signed Vince Velasquez. Give me a break. John Jay, Yonder Alonso. Between them, that's $200 million on a bunch of black holes and an ERA of 240. The entire organization is poisoned. The entire way that they go about their business is a failure. Firing Rick isn't enough. Firing Kenny isn't enough. If Chris Getz gets promoted and we have to sit through another 15-year retool rebuild, you're just going to hear from me again in 2038. I don't care if we go on a torrid winning streak in May and June and somehow get back to 500 ball, and then we scooch our way into the postseason and the wild card, only to get bounced right away by a team that's actually good. We have no depth in our organization. One injury and we are done. This process isn't working. Our farm system has been in the bottom 10 for 45 years, aside from the one frame of time when they traded all our talent away and graduated them all right up, and then we were the worst again.
Pause. It has been 5 minutes. You have not heard from the hosts
Not a
since
word.
they put him on.
Why
Not
would you?
a single
That's
word.
Great call. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's literally the best call that's ever happened in sports radio. It's so
There
good.
is one solution. In his final years, Jerry Reinsdorf, who, by the way, wouldn't even have the reputation he has if he hadn't have lucked upon Michael Jordan at 3 in 1984, has the courage to get rid of the yes men around him and fire everyone. He bought into the Chicago Bulls and the White Sox for $20 million. He's worth $2 billion now. He needs to use a fraction of that money he made on the backs of Chicago's blue-collar baseball fans and pay for a front office to come and rebuild everything. Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams cannot be trusted to rebuild this team again. They need to retire and go off into the sunset and play golf with the millions of dollars they made on their cushy paychecks for a job that they had a longer leash for than any executive in the history of the modern era of baseball. Let someone qualified come in and run this team. At this point, we would need a historic turnaround to even be mildly relevant. Everyone said the AL Central was weak, and it might be in comparison to others, but the Sox aren't better than the Guardians or the Twins. We're not even better than the Royals. And the fact that we're only incrementally better than the Tigers is exactly the kind of indictment on this organization that we need. The lack of success that this roster has is a referendum on what we've already seen in 2006, 2007, 2011, 2013, 2015, and 16, and the excruciating last 7 years that only led to this. I mean, Stoney is more worried about Lance Lynn eating a salad than the entire organization not knowing how to teach major league prospects how to hit a baseball.
Is now all right, Ferdo. Is now a good time to remind him too that they traded Fernando Tatis Jr. for James Shields.
Oh, if the host would have dropped that in there, he might have.
Yeah, he might. That might have
I think
been
we're about a month and a half away from Major Garrett delivering a similar rant on our show. Things don't turn around a little bit here.
Very,
that was
very
very
true.
impressive.
Isn't that great? And
Very
7 minutes
impressive.
and it goes by like that.
It's
like that.
He, any other 7 minute long.
It's a drag. It's a
like-
drag. It drags. That did not drag.
And
He
by
was
the way,
phenomenal.
and I will acknowledge, there's been times in Padres history where they have been no better than that.
No doubt.
Farm system, front office, disastrous over the last 50 years.
Let's not get there this year. You know,
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying?
they are. I mean,
think so
AJ
either, but-
Preller, for all of his faults, he finds talent in the minor leagues every single year in the draft, in the international market, coveted players. Yeah, they could still teach people how to hit on the major league level sometimes, but wow, what a call. What a call.
Call. Best ever. Number one.
All right, it is time to wrap things up. Let's get to the flubs.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. Sit down at a California-style blackjack table or play some Texas Hold'em poker. Book a solar battery installation. Book a solar
What is
battery
the inspiration? Tatis has paid the big bucks to be our sharding.
Charting right fielder.
I have done it again.
I haven't heard much. The organization, Bob Melvin.
Who is Bob Miller?
Had him on today because Penske Lincoln's Dong Days of Summer
Whoa.
sales event is on right now.
Benny and call a public safety power shutoff.
The meteorologist at STNG. I'm in trouble too.
The ump show is starting in 4 minutes.
Stu
We gotta go. Let's go, babe.
Sherwaters behind the dish.
Come on.
The dish. And of course, San Diego State taking on number 14 Utah
Bring it.
All right, we'll play this audio for you.
Guys.
Gnarly.
It's gnarly.
Out of St. Louis, California. First hour of Ben and Woods. Glad to have you with us on Wednesday morning.
Glad to have you with me.
Wherever we are. And both times, Austin Nolan drove in the one run.
Who is Austin Nolan?
Browns, Bengals, Ravens, 3-2 teams in that division. Ballast Point Beer, the official craft beer of the San Diego Padres, at Ballast Point in Little India.
He's not 35.
But he will be before the contract is done.
What is a contract?
Holiday season is almost here.
30 days, half September.
And that is do this for
Wednesday.
Don't. Ben and Woods, back after a check of traffic on 97.3 Fan. He's got the fifth most wins coaching time, all-time coaching. Fifth most, yes. February 12th, State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. State Farm Stadium.
That's not what I heard. That's not what I heard either.
Our first sound from Padres Spring Training 2013. I think when a veteran pitcher is having success with those numbers, 6-year history of Major League Rugby.
Rugby?
Sam
Wow.
San Diego's number one sports station, 93 The Fan.
We're just talking about Landon Jonovan.
Who is Landon Jonovan?
All right, back after a check of traffic here on 91.37 The Fan. Almost the entire 97.3 The Crew is coming out.
And then, of course, Joe Darvish and the kettlebell on the toe. Paul Reindl. It's our executive producer, YouTube director.
What's the director?
He's the director.
The Sockers, they haven't lost the season all home, so we need you out there.
Lost its season all home. Oh, that's fantastic work, gentlemen.
Oh,
we didn't add to it this week.
As Joe says, Ben looks like he's ready to hit the pond with his favorite rod and reel.
You really
with
do.
My Joe Musgrove bucket hat on. Some perfect weekend activities.
I take it you won't be fishing this weekend.
I will not be gone fishing. I will watch some NBA basketball tonight. Got the Lakers-Warriors doubleheader. I think it's Warriors-Kings at 5, and then Lakers-Grizzlies, both game 6s with the home team trying to close it out. They do not want to go back.
No.
Whether it's the Warriors to Sacramento or the Lakers to Memphis for game 7. So big NBA games tonight.
Beautiful. I will not be watching. I'm going to
No, you're going to watch the second and third round of the draft.
Yeah.
Religiously. Tonight.
Now I've got a date with the missus, dinner, and sleep. That's it.
Sounds like a Friday.
Yeah. I'm exhausted. Have a great weekend, gentlemen.
You too.
I will.
All right, we'll be back Monday morning at 6 a.m. Have a couple of games from Mexico City to break down. The Padres will be back home on a Monday. Have more basketball playoffs to talk about. What else? Tatis's return to Petco Park on a Monday. Should be a good one for Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy your weekend from all of us here. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan.